one of the greatest landmarks in Supercross history, the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. It's the opening of the 1998 AMA Supercross season. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs, and Marty Reed bringing you the action. Hello, everyone. After a season last year with 7 different winners, 4 first-time winners, here tonight in Los Angeles for the opening round, we could see 10 riders at the gate who have won Supercross main events before. That's half the gate, David.
That's really exciting, and it's interesting to get people's predictions, too, walking around the pits. No one really knows who. I'm certainly at a loss, but and after watching practice, I thought Kevin Windham looked the best, the most relaxed. I think he's a pretty good mud rider, and he certainly didn't make any mistakes while I had my eye on him, but most of the focus is on Jeremy McGrath and Jeff Emig.
Yes, and during the offseason, we saw a game of musical chairs. Many riders changing teams for this season. For the second time in 2 years, the sport's most recognizable star, Jeremy McGrath, switches brands. Despite a late signing and little preseason testing time on the Suzuki last year, Jeremy had 2 wins and the sport's most podiums. This season, he's had enough seat time to get used to his new chaparral Yamaha.
Like I said, I mean, this year I'm prepared, and everyone who's talking crap, I'm going to show them.
It's extremely rare to see a rider leave a factory team under trying circumstances and a few years later end up back with that very same team. That's exactly what happened to Larry Ward, and Ward did it the hard way, riding with independent teams. Ward's 7 top 10 finishes in the last 8 years was one of the factors leading to his returning to Team Suzuki.
It feels good. It feels like a chance to win a championship. Came pretty close for privateer teams, and with the help of Suzuki and my new teammates, I think I can win the championship this year.
Losing Jeremy McGrath at the last second in '97 dealt a big blow to Supercross's winningest brand. But in 1998, Honda was able to reach out for a 2-time winner who hasn't reached his peak performance level yet. Ezra Lusk moves from Yamaha to Honda.
All I can tell you is I'm not the #1 guy. I don't have the #1 plate, so there's no pressure for me. You know, I want to go beat the #1 guy, so why should I feel the pressure?
Mike LaRocco on a Suzuki last year reached out to Jack in the Box in Factory Connection to set up his own team for this season. Riding a Honda, Mike, like Jeremy, could become only the 2nd rider in the history of Supercross to win on 3 different brands. Also adding to the mix for our opener, there are 2 riders from Sweden, 1 from Australia, 1 from Mexico, 3 from Japan, and 3 from France trying to make the main event, including the fast GP rider Sebastian Tortelli.
In '99 for sure I would be here. I mean, I want to do my career here, so I just studied in Europe, but I will finish it here.
David Bailey, such massive movements. I can't remember so many in recent years anyway.
Oh, me either. I think you'd have to go back to the 70s when the factory teams were enormous. We used to see a lot of shifting around then.
Big question really here tonight, starting off things. Can Jeremy McGrath now take the momentum away from Jeff Emig and regain the title that he gave up last year? Marty Reed's down at the starting gate.
Normally, if you're wearing the #2, you'd be a very happy man, but not that guy. Jeremy McGrath wants only 1 number on his bike, and that's #1. There's a disadvantage for being #2. You have to run the first heat race. He used to be able to sit back and watch the competition. He'd be able to watch the line, see what track conditions are like, and they're awful tonight. Now he's got to go first. 7 winners last year also proved one other thing, that aura that Jeremy McGrath was invincible is gone. And he knows that if he wants it back, it's got to start right now.
Thank you, Marty. Tonight we'll have 2 qualifying heats for the top 4 riders from each heat earn the advantage of transferring directly to the main event. Then they sit back and relax and watch the rest of the field move on to 1 of 2 semifinal rounds, where the top 5 riders from each get into the main event. Then there's the last chance qualifier, where the final 2 gate positions are determined, filling out our 20-rider 250 field. Let's get right to the racing now as we anticipate the start here of the first heat of 250 action. Jeremy McGrath, Ezra Lusk, Mike LaRocco, Doug Henry, Ryan Hughes, Michael Craig, Damon Huffman, Kevin Windham. My gosh, David Bailey, it sounds like a main event.
It does. Sal, this is going to be an incredible year. Gate's about ready to go now. These guys are got to be nervous. The first race of the year is
30 board.
The hardest time.
And ready to go. Get nervous time, David.
Absolutely.
Board sideways. Anytime now, the gate will drop. And our first heat of action is underway. Who will get the whole shot? To the inside, Ezra Lusk. Ezra Lusk and a tribe right behind him battling for 2nd place.
Good start for Kevin Windham. Jeremy McGrath right there behind him in third.
Kevin Windham picking up some space now on Ezra Lusk.
And the four-stroke, Doug Henry running fourth. So you got four of the favorites running the top four right now.
Michael Craig in fifth place as they go over the finish line jump.
Windham takes the lead.
So Kevin Windham through the whoops.
Lusk had a lot of trouble through these whoops in practice. Went down. In fact, everybody had trouble, but I saw Lusk really back off through there after he went down. These guys haven't seen the track since practice, and the conditions right now are completely different. So they're just feeling each other out.
So the young man from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, his first year, full year in 250 action. The first 125 full-time rider last year to win a main event in 250 action. That was at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And here we go again. I think a lot of people might have thought, well, Charlotte's a different type of racetrack. Not that many corners. We got a good start, but here we go again. Out to a great start for 98.
Ezra Lusk, who had two great events in Japan, the only off-season races that he had this year. Stutters a little in that corner, but Jeremy McGrath has not been able to pick up any space on him.
You can see the ruts right there coming out of that corner. They're not as deep as the one in that first corner. That's going to get deeper and deeper. Good style by Windham right there. He jumped up on that double jump.
A
lot of balance.
Walking.
Takes a lot of balance. You can guarantee these guys are going to make mistakes, and he's over the triple. And Ezra follows him.
Windham looking great through the whoop section. A little fishtail.
First four riders cleared the triple that time, Art. The crowd's reacting to it. Looks like Windham now starting to pull away just a little bit. These first three riders starting to string out, and like I said, they're feeling each other out. The track's completely different, and if you get too close to the guy in front of you right now, you get sprayed. So if you stay back just a little bit, stay in contact, you save your vision for the later parts of the race.
So it's Windham, Lusk, McGrath, Henry, Craig, and Mike Brown. Mike Brown looking very good in his first American appearance for a full-time season this year after riding in Europe last year. Oh, their crowd is going crazy as Ezra Lusk did the triple. Jeremy McGrath did not.
And behind McGrath, the crowd goes nuts again as the four-stroke, Doug Henry, clears it. It's the first time these guys have been able to do the triples all day.
Oh, exciting action here in our first qualifying heat. We'll be back as the race for the checkers continues.
The Honda 4Trax 300 4x4, the Foreman 400, and the Honda Recon, a 250 that's all new from the ground, mud, and slime up. You could go to the ends of the earth and never find better ATVs. We know. We've been there.
You never really leave this place. You just go home for a while. FLA, USA.
Orlando. Every time you visit, everywhere you go, Orlando, something else. Come and say hello.
Always something different.
Always something fun. The smile's gonna show it. You'll never outgrow it. Orlando.
For over 30 years, Cycle News has been the weekly newspaper for motorcycle race fans. Results are official, point standings are current, and race coverage is timely and complete.
Oh, it was a great race, you know. I mean, it was an interesting race.
And to win the last race and say...
It's something I dreamed of when I was a little kid, is to be a Supercross star. And
Riding impressions, new products, events calendar, classified ads, and more. Cycle News, America's weekly motorcycle newspaper. Call 1-800-325-2925 or visit cyclenews.com on the World Wide Web. AMA Supercross is being brought to you by Honda Motorcycles, the leader in on and off-road fun. Honda, come ride with us. and by Suzuki motorcycles and ATVs. Now during Suzuki Fest 98, get $500 worth of accessories free and choose from great deals like 0 down or low APR financing on selected models.
Henry over
Number
the
19,
triple.
Doug Henry. He won 2 wins last year on the 2-stroke, one of them right here in round 2 at the Los Angeles Coliseum before winning that historic 4-stroke at Las Vegas. Let's get out of Marty Reed.
Yeah, guys, you were talking about Doug Henry and the 4-stroke. Remember, he's only run. He's in the rain in this thing, and that was at Mount Mars, and it's a dismal affair for him. And the big thing is he looks like he's putting a move on McGrath right now and taking over 3rd place. They weren't sure how this machine was going to react. And David, one of their concerns was the engine brake, and I know you can explain it probably better than anybody.
Well, there's so much compression with that 4-stroke that, yeah, you get great traction, but when you let off the power, all that compression almost acts like a brake. So the slicker the track is, that could fishtail around a lot going into the corners, but it's a lot tackier now than it was in practice. So I don't think it's a problem for him, and he just made the pass on McGrath.
Doug Henry has passed Jeremy McGrath.
Anything can be happening right here. We don't know for sure with McGrath. What he wants to do is make the main event, but definitely put a better result in the books than he did here last year, and he's doing that. Just by playing his cool. He may need to make some adjustments to the bike. His arms could be pumping up. You don't really know at this point, but you can bet one thing. McGrath will be there when it comes time.
There you see it. Wyndham, Lusk, Henry, McGrath. The top 4 would make it into the main if something happens to Michael Craig.
Jeremy knows he's got a pretty big lead over 5th, so I don't think he's too concerned. He maybe messing up his concentration a little bit. Seeing the leaders get away and having Henry catch him, maybe he's going to learn a little bit from Doug and be able to use that on those guys in the main event.
Boy, last year's 125 Western winner, Kevin Wyndham, is looking so smooth as we go back to Ezra Lusk, number 3. His first ride on a Honda in AMA Supercross.
Through that whoop section, Lusk has definitely picked up the pace. He's not letting Wyndham get away, and Wyndham's having to deal with some lapped riders now, and that can be to the favor of Lusk. Anytime you're in 2nd, you can take advantage of a situation. Lapped riders don't know the leaders are coming around at times, and sometimes they make the wrong decision and mess you up. Lusk could take advantage.
And back in the pack, Ryan Hughes is trying to make a move on Jeremy McGrath, as well as Michael Craig.
This is the side of the racetrack where Lusk always gets close. They're close right now. Believe me, Wyndham knows he's there. They got a long way to go before they catch up to any more lapped riders.
So some great racing already in our first heat, with the top 4 riders advancing to the main event. We've got Wyndham, Lusk, Henry in that order, with McGrath in 4th, Craig in 5th, Rocco in 6th, and Brown has moved back to 7th.
You can see that rut coming out of the corner there. Wyndham had to keep his balance through there, one leg off, acting like a counterweight. You have to jump the double jumps, sometimes sitting down with the feet off the pegs in those ruts. The balance and the strength of these guys is just unbelievable. It gets better and better every year, and the tracks get a little tougher too.
Boy, Wyndham's got the line through those whoops, doesn't he? As he takes the big gouge, as he now goes up the chute to the peristyle. Mike Gossler is his new mechanic. Mike Gossler, of course, the longtime mechanic of Steve Lampson, has moved over to wrench for Ezra Lusk, number 3, right behind Kevin Wyndham.
Lusk still right there, this time even a little closer.
Henry still in 3rd, McGrath in 4th, with Mike LaRocco, who likes to finish strong, in 5th. Look out, we might have a race for the last qualifying position here in heat number 1. There's Ezra Lusk right behind Wyndham.
Getting close. There's that rut again. Wyndham a little bit better balance down these straightaways. He's made less mistakes. But Lusk is starting to find his rhythm. He's getting more relaxed now.
White flag. 1 lap remains. Can Ezra Lusk take the checkered flag away from Kevin Wyndham?
Absolutely. He's right there within striking distance. Lusk is usually strong through the whoops, but today it's been all Wyndham through there.
Wyndham doing a good job of those whoops, though. Slows up for the big whoop at the end before the rut. Now Ezra Lusk as they go up the peristyle.
Trying to keep that front end down. You can see him feathering the clutch, so he didn't have to let off the throttle. These guys ride with their finger out there on the clutch the entire race, make their own power. These bikes hit so hard that if they just let the bike hit, sometimes it hits a little bit too much, and they slip that clutch out there to make exactly the power they want.
Well, by now the butterflies are gone as these riders entering the first round of competition in the year of 1998. Lusk to the inside. Can he get a Wyndham? Yes, he does.
Beautiful move. Set that up way at the beginning of that sweeper. That sweeper is a new section for this year. Here goes Wyndham.
Wyndham fights back, and Wyndham goes down. Ezra Lusk, he gets up in time and goes on. Can Wyndham, though, hold on to a qualifying position?
These guys
Henry is in third. Can Henry catch up to him?
The lead these guys have is amazing. I think Wyndham will get going before he does.
Here comes Henry as the checkers goes to Ezra Lusk. Still, Wyndham just restarts, but he can't get by. Henry passes him in the rhythm section. So Doug Henry moves into second place. Kevin Wyndham in third. Jeremy McGrath still in fourth. And an exciting finish to our first heat of action.
Are you ready for more action, more danger, more impact? Well, your wait is over. The hottest, most intense, extreme Crash Impact ever. Crash Impact 2. 70 minutes of explosive, heart-stopping crash action. You have to see to believe. All new crashes from Superbikes, Harley Series, drag racing, stock cars, sprint cars, Supercross, Indy cars, flat track, and more. All jam-packed on 2 tapes for only $19.95. Order now and get absolutely free the new Extreme Sports Virtual Reality, featuring insane extreme sports from around the world like you've never seen before. You'll get the all-new Crash Impact 2, plus the Extreme Sports video free. 3 tapes that'll blow you away. Guaranteed or your money back.
To order, call 1-800-310-6116. That's 1-800-310-6116. Or send $19.95 plus $5.95 shipping and handling to the address on your screen.
Classic Sports Network presents The Perfect Season.
Did they believe we were that good? I don't think anybody did.
Their offense was an irresistible force.
We set the records for all the rushing yards. I mean, it was total domination.
Their defense, an immovable object.
We knew they were going to have to physically destroy us to beat us.
NFL Films and Classic Sports Network team up for an original documentary chronicling the undefeated 1972 Miami Dolphins, hosted by Dan Dierdorf. The Perfect Season premieres January 19th on Classic Sports Network.
Our deck member David Bailey. Here's where the pass took place. A good dirt track move.
Well, it's a sweeper. We haven't seen many of those. That was the pass on the inside. Wyndham tried to cut back to the inside right here. Lusk came in there, hit his back tire, and Wyndham wasn't able to continue that arc through there. Had he been able to, he wouldn't have gone down. May have made that pass stick, but
Kevin was able to get up and restart just in time, though, to qualify. Lusk, Henry, Wyndham, and Jeremy McGrath get the transfer to the main. Let's go to Davey Coombs on the winner's podium.
Okay, thanks, Art. Hey, Yogi, we just watched that pass. Tell me, were you setting that up the whole moto?
Yeah, pretty much. I'd get close to him on this side of the stadium, and then for some reason I couldn't make it stick. I would lose time a little bit right there, and I wouldn't be able to make the pass. And I knew that last lap I had to stay on his butt as hard as I could and be there when he went to the outside line.
So it's a great opening heat for Ezra Lusk, Jeff Emig, Larry Ward, Greg Albertine, and Jimmy Button, amongst others, coming up in heat number 2. All the changes we've made with the riders changing teams, but Emig's team remains the same. Kawasaki, well, that doesn't mean, though, Marty Reed, that they haven't made some changes on that bike, right?
Oh, that's for sure, Art. As you can see, Jeremy Albrecht getting final words of advice to his rider. Take a look at this front handlebar system the Renthal has put together. What they've done is they've made this all one piece, and they have assured Jeff he can't possibly bend it or break it. There's also another neat little trick that they put into the bike. It's going to be hard to see, but the rear shock assembly, they have put another range of dampening, so it gives them more options. But what's really neat for Jeremy Albrecht, he can adjust it without having to pull the bike apart. That is really neat.
things are getting easier for the riders and easier for the mechanics these days, it seems like.
The defending champion of the season last year has lots of competition here in the second qualifying heat. Only the top 4 make it. Larry Ward is there. Greg Albertine, who won this first round in Los Angeles last year. Jimmy Button, who's been riding very, very well. And we've got a foreign contingent. Mikel Pachod, Sebastian Tortelli, both from France. Mikel will be staying the entire season. Sebastian racing several races here in America before going over to the Grand Prix circuit in Europe.
Also, 917 Frederic Bollet taking over for Steve Lampson, number 9 on the factory Honda.
Lampson not at the gate, broken collarbone while working out last week. He'll probably be out another 6 weeks as the 32nd board goes up.
Good shot of all that mud packed up in the knobbies. Once these guys take off and they'll start spinning, it all slings out of there. That's why it's so important to stay on the gas. Keep that throttle pinned in the mud. Keep those knobbies cleaned out.
Boy, was Team Honda having a smile on their face after that first heat. Wes McCoy came into our booth jumping up and down.
They love it, but Wyndham has got to be happy with the way he rode. He knows he's got the pace.
Board is sideways. We're set for heat number 2 from Los Angeles. Having a pretty good start. Emick cuts to the inside. Oh, he has a heck of a time. And taking over the lead is Phil Lawrence, number 24.
Sebastian Tortelli right in there, takes it away from both of them.
Tortelli goes down. And right there to take over the lead is Larry Ward.
Suzuki teammates Larry Ward and Pichon out front take advantage of this mishap. Lawrence looked like he had a great start, took advantage of Emmett getting caught in that rut in the first corner, takes over the lead. Tortelli takes it back, and they both go down.
Frederic Bollet is in 3rd. So Frederic Bollet, who's over here to capitalize and learn, get some experience here in American Supercross. Emig is in 4th, going through the whoops. And it's Albertine right behind him. But number 4 right now, Larry Ward, who makes his home in Florence, South Carolina, has taken the lead here in heat number 2. Wouldn't that be something for Larry Ward? The last win, his only Supercross win, was in 1990 in his hometown then of Seattle, Washington.
And that was on a Suzuki.
He left Suzuki under very rough terms. Went to the independent teams, Nolene, as well as Honda of Troy, and got a shot back with the same team he left. That's almost unheard of.
Great opportunity, and he's taking advantage of it right now. Starting to pull away a little bit. Larry Ward, from being from back east, deals with the mud. Plus, he's pretty tall. He's able to use those long legs, keep his balance. Some of the deep ruts, it may be a problem, but they'll work the track in between the heat races and before the main. I don't think that'll be a problem for him.
It's Ward out in front with Pichon in 2nd, Bollet in 3rd, and Emig in 4th with Albie still in 5th.
Heading to that long whoop section. Pichon really starting to tighten the screws. Got a shot there of number 11, Jimmy Button, who had gotten out of control from the other portion of the racetrack, spinning around to get back on.
Button getting back up is out of contention right now. Jimmy with some excellent races over in Europe in the off-season. Went through shoulder surgery this year and feels like an entirely different rider. Koi Kita in 6th place. He came all the way from Japan as Ward, Pichon, Bollet, Emig, and Albertine still our top 5. Right now, we've got a close battle for first place.
Pichon really riding good. Being from Europe, every time it's been muddy, Pichon has ridden well. Doing it again here tonight, studying the lines of his teammate. Didn't get a chance to ride much last year after getting hurt here in the first round. Now we'll get a chance, hopefully, to see the potential of Pichon on a 250.
We've got a battle almost ready to go between Bollet and Emig. Emig, you see him coming to the picture now. Number 1, the defending champion. Oh, he got the broom out last year and just swept up.
Didn't go too good for him here, though, at LA.
No, it did not. In fact, it was a 6th place finish in the first round as he makes the pass on Bollet. And no rider has won a Supercross title and finished worse than 7th in the opener, and that was Stanton back in 1992. The race for the checkers is on here in our 2nd qualifying heat. We'll be back with more in a moment.
A fuel-injected 90-degree V-twin, an exotic all-aluminum truss frame, and a rear suspension so advanced, it's patented. The 1997 Suzuki TL1000S, a sport bike with such forward thinking, the rest of the world seems backwards. Buy one now and get a $400 gift certificate to spend on anything at your Suzuki dealership.
Discover the amazing training secrets of America's finest baseball school in an exciting instructional video. Baseball World's Defensive Drills video features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky and the same techniques that produced his back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Collegiate Baseball Magazine's editor calls it a masterpiece, the best drill video ever produced. This video is endorsed by top professionals like superstar Fred McGriff.
This is the instructional video that gets results.
The Defensive Drills video benefits players of all ages and ability levels and makes a great gift too, so call now.
NHL Tonight, Tuesday through Saturday at 11:30, only on ESPN2.
Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. Mikel Pichon, while we were away, took the lead away from Larry Ward. Emig is in third. Bollet still in fourth.
Emig starting to get a little closer to this group. There you see Emig starting to get a little closer to Ward now. Ward could be suffering from arm pump. Anytime somebody gets out to a quick lead like that, first race of the season, he had a quick pace, got a little nervous. Maybe his arms are pumping up. He's starting to fade.
David Bailey, the remarkable thing about number 16 on the Team Suzuki right now, Mikel Pichon, out in front of this qualifying heat. Who can forget that ghastly crash that he had here in qualifying in the first time? A broken leg, broken femur, sent him out for the entire season. And now he's leading here in 1998.
I think it's great. I certainly can't forget it. I've seen it enough times. I'm sure he'd like to forget it.
Oh, Bollet is making a race of it for third. He almost passed Jeff Emig. As we're checking out Larry Ward in second place. Bollet's really putting heat on number 1, Jeff Emig. Emig now starting to pull away, but you see into the picture now. Bollet on the Team Honda. Boy, what a substitute this is for Steve Lamson. 4 laps to go here in our second qualifying heat.
Emig coming down hard on that triple, makes a little mistake.
Oh! Jeff Emig makes the pass. Taking advantage of a rider that went down. Bollet fishtailing there in the whoops.
Bollet very aggressive, makes the pass when Emig landed a little hard off the triple, but that lapped rider messed it up for him. Emig right back into third.
What great experience for Bollet to make a main event here in American Supercross. Down the peristyle. They've got a launch pad there. It'll be interesting to see when somebody's really battling for the lead who takes off on that launch to make the double coming down the hill later on.
It's a little tough there because it's darker. There's shadows in those ruts. Emig starting to play it up to a little bit to the crowd.
Button and Tortelli are going at it for 6th place as Pichon is still our leader with Ward in 2nd. Emig in 3rd, Bollet in 4th, and Albie is in 5th. But Bollet is really sticking close to Emig. Our leader, Mikel Pichon. What a great story this is, considering last year's tragic accident.
Clicking off some quick laps, too. He just took 2 seconds off Larry Ward's fastest lap. Now that he's got clear sailing, he's able to jump both triples. Starting to really bring the lap times down. The track is starting to work its way into great shape.
Number 16, Pichon, a 2-time 125 champion. And he only turns 22 years of age on the 13th of next month.
There's been people saying that he reminds them a little bit, and I've said it before, of Jean-Michel Bayle. Not just because he's from France, a young kid coming over here wanting to race in the USA, but his style, very smooth, very creative, takes different lines out there, gets stronger as the race goes on, good in the mud. Really not many weaknesses. I thought physical fitness might be his weakness, but he proved us wrong last year coming back after that leg injury in the outdoors in those hot races.
What a great rehab. Let's go down to the floor of the stadium and Marty Reed.
Well, you know, during the offseason, we had heard that Suzuki had found some more horsepower. In fact, they were talking about it today before the race. And this 1-2 performance so far by Pichon and Ward seems to be bearing it out, guys.
Looks like Bollet has gone down.
Yeah, the crowd oohing and awing as we were listening to Marty Reed, and Bollet went down. And so he is out of 4th place. That gives the shot for Albertine to qualify directly to the main event after our second qualifying heat. But look at number 16. Good style, despite the ruts, despite the muck. Mikel Pichon. We had over an inch of rain here in Los Angeles yesterday. It rained a little bit this morning, but this track is in fantastic shape considering the conditions. There you see Larry Ward pumping away in 2nd place here in the second qualifying heat.
Actually,
that's Albie.
We're going to get these guys mixed up on the same team.
Yes.
Yep.
Albertine.
Starting to really close the gap on Emig now.
Albertine coming up on the defending champion, Jeff Emig.
Last year's winner. All the focus on Emig and McGrath coming into this race. McGrath switching over to Suzuki, and Albertine walks away with the win. And he's starting to find his rhythm right now. Put the pressure on Jeff.
But like in your opening, just anybody can win this year.
It's amazing. All the guys switching teams really leveled the playing field. 1:18 lap times for Pichon. Consistent.
Greg Albertine, the South African who just loves living in America, just recently engaged. He's probably as happy as he's ever been as they're approaching a white flag lap. Emig getting some heat from number 17 Suzuki's Jeff Albertine. Greg Albertine to the inside, and Emig gets the spring over the launch and retakes the position.
Same corner where Wyndham and Lusk got together in the first heat. That inside rut runs right into the outside rut. So if you get in there close enough to the guy in front of you, you can steal the line away.
So Pichon has a monster lead on this final lap over Larry Ward. The only thing to be decided, who wants 3rd place. And there's really no challenge for the final qualifying spot, Dave Bailey.
Well, these guys are pretty strung out right now. Remember, they haven't seen the track since practice, and the conditions are completely different. Perhaps their setup, the tire choice, suspension, it's all different. These guys are going to go back to the drawing board, some of them, before the main event, make some changes, and I think we'll see a much different battle, much different situation out there. Put all these guys together, there's going to be some serious racing.
Mikel Pichon, number 16, not only had to come back from the fractured fibula, but also had the chronic fatigue syndrome the year before and really couldn't work out. As he makes the turn, the checkers for Mikel Pichon, and 8 more riders. Or 8 riders have qualified for the main event. Davey Coombs will be talking with Mikel Pichon when we return.
Hi, Chuck. How's business?
Okay.
Hey, what's on your screen?
QuickBooks accounting software from the makers of Quicken.
Yeah, I really don't have time to learn new software.
If you can write a check, you can use QuickBooks. Answer a few questions and it tailors itself to your business. Create invoices like these. It has accounts payable, accounts receivable, payroll, and inventory, and over 60 customizable reports that put you in control.
I'm going to try it.
Nothing to lose.
Call 1-800-344-8300.
Tune into SportsCenter for the best sports moments of '97. Which ones deserve a fan's choice ESPY? Watch SportsCenter or log on to ESPN Sports Zone and make your picks for the ESPYs.
As we prepare for our main event here from Los Angeles, the 4 riders that go directly to the main qualifying in tonight's second qualifying heat: Mikel Pichon, Larry Ward, Jeff Emig, and Greg Albertine. Davies with our winner now.
Mikel, when you were here last year, it had to have been the worst night of your career. How's it feel to come back with a win in a heat race like this?
Well, I'm so happy you can't believe it. It's my first race in 250 this year. I mean, it's for everybody, but I've been practicing a lot. My Suzuki is working very well. I'm feeling great, and I like the track very much. I have so much fun up there, and I think it's going to pay off at the main event.
Do you consider yourself a mud rider? Because we got a really muddy track tonight.
Yeah, I like mud. I won the only GP I won in Europe that was on the very, very deep mud track. And then tonight, to me, it's not really muddy. It's just a lot of ruts, but it's something I really like very much.
While we have a break in the action, a visitor here in the broadcast booth. He would rather be down there on his team Honda, I'm sure, Steve Lampson, and what a bummer that was, Steve. But first of all, we must introduce a special guest here. Taylor.
Yeah, it's my little daughter, Taylor, here, and she's 2 months old now, and wish I could be out there racing for her, but I'm up here watching with her, so.
The broken collarbone doesn't hamper your style in holding your baby.
No, it's not too bad. It's healing up pretty good.
That's good.
She's still pretty light, but it's still got some healing to go.
As bummer as it was, as you were getting ready for the opening of the season to fall and have a broken collarbone, it must be joyous to see at least your teammate Ezra Lusk look so good in the qualifying heat.
Yeah, Ezra's been riding really good, and you know, it's all on his shoulders right now. I feel, you know, that he can do it though, and the bike's working great, and he's riding really good. I think he can pull the win off tonight.
Well, it's good to know you're good friends and teammates as well, and best of luck in the rehab now, Steve.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'll look back at Supercross history, then it's on to the semifinals. We got some big names remaining trying to make it into the main when we get back.
1997, what a year for the sport of Supercross.
The 97 Supercross Series, bar to bar.
And the season is underway.
From LA to Vegas.
McGrath is down,
and he's under the bike.
All on one video.
Doug Henry wins his second Supercross.
In the best year in history.
You can expect a lot of fire.
Go behind the scenes and on the track.
Albertine through the timing section.
The most wicked crashes.
They both up Miami.
Bone-crushing excitement.
You want to know who got the whole shot? You call 1-900 Pro Race.
The best riders in the world.
Get bar to bar today. Call for your copy at 1-888-659-RACE or send a check or money order for $14.95 plus $3.95 shipping and handling to Bar, care of Pace Motorsports, 477 East Butterfield, Suite 400, Lombard, Illinois, 60148.
It's that time of year again, tax season. Are you prepared? Will you file your return with confidence or with crossed fingers? The Wall Street Journal Guide to Understanding Your Taxes can give you more confidence, and it's yours free with 10 weeks of the journal for just $3.90 a week. The Guide and the Journal, necessary items during a stormy season. Call now for the Wall Street Journal, 800-248-1300. That's 800-248-1300.
Never before has there been a cruiser as comfortable as the Suzuki Intruder 1500 LC. A bike so smooth, so impressive, you'll want the end of the ride to be just the beginning.
'84, the olden days. The season opener at Anaheim Stadium always drew the biggest crowds and the biggest names in the sport. It was also one of the most nerve-wracking races of the season, and you could see it on our faces. Team Suzuki's Scott Burnworth talks things over with his mechanic. As his teammate, the bomber Mark Barnett, pulls in from his practice session. You know this is the olden days. Watch Mark. Puts the bike on the stand by himself. No one around, no mechanic, and definitely no semi. You could see it on Mark's face. All the tension. It wasn't a picture of confidence. But in the contrast to Barnett, Johnny O'Mara of Team Honda was smiling, loose and confident, despite being one of the heavy favorites. In fact, the whole Honda team looked loose and confident. Johnny's teammate Bob Hanna looked relaxed, but every time the Hurricane took a step forward, an injury knocked him 2 steps back. While I'm loosening it up, Johnson surveys the situation, and in front of a sellout crowd, gate drops for the main event, and it's a drag race to the corner between Brecker and Scott Burnworth. Burnworth, number 8 on the inside, plays it smart and comes out with the hole shot. So at the end of the first lap, it's number 8, Burnworth, followed by O'Mara, Goat Brecker, and Brock Glover. By the end of the second lap, O'Mara was around Burnworth and into the lead, while I had recovered from a mediocre start and carved my way to 3rd. And as O'Mara continued to lead, I was pushing hard, made the pass on Burnworth, and started to catch O'Mara. but I was pushing too hard, and on the next lap went down, bending my handlebars, and eventually drifting to 4th. That left O'Meara way out in front with no pressure as he cruised to his first Supercross win. Grabbing the checkered flag, hands in the air, I'd won it the year before, and I knew what Johnny was feeling.
1984, David Bailey, and your best friend took it away, Johnny O'Meara.
Yep, he had a great ride. He was pretty nervous the last couple of laps.
30-second board is up as we get set for our first semifinal round.
Hey, you see the guy looking at the watch? That sign will go sideways, and between 5 and 10 seconds, that gate will drop.
We're ready to go. The gate will drop any second, and they're off. The Hondas out in front. Will they get the whole shot? Michael Craig, number 13 on the inside, but the Kawasaki, number 15, takes the lead.
Damon Huffman, a brilliant leap out of that first corner. So far what we've seen is the guy that gets the whole shot doesn't always come out on the lead. A lot of passing right out of that corner. That next little straightaway, LaRocco up in there.
Huffman winning the World Supercross title. Gives a lot of credit, of course, to his Kawasaki teammate Jeff Emig for not running the last event in Geneva.
These guys getting bad starts, having to work their way through traffic, not getting it together, having to go to the semi. Only one practice session today because of the conditions. And Pichon, he had to ride a preliminary qualifier who won that second heat race. He got an extra little bit of practice out there and obviously helped. He was much more comfortable in that race.
There's the leader. And number 100 is knocking on the door right now. And that is Michael Brown. Michael Brown coming over from Europe after a very dissatisfying time of it on the GP circuit there. Mike Brown in second place.
Saw Mike Brown about a week ago. He's really trimmed down, training really hard. Excellent shape.
Excuse me, David. LaRocco in third. Here comes Brown. Brown had some very good preliminary warm-up races, but he gets hung up there on the corner. Huffman, Brown, LaRocco, Craig. Atsuda out of Japan is the 5th place rider.
Huffman get a little bit better line down that straightaway, starts to open that lead up again. Heading into the triple. Goes for that, no problem. Tapping the brake in the air to bring that front end down a little bit. You want to land a little bit nose low. They start off high to make sure they got over the triple. Then they pull in the clutch in the air, tap that rear brake, and when the wheels stop, all that inertia drops the front end and land perfect.
Damon Huffman's timing looking very good. He placed 11th in the first round here last year, and a change of position now as Mike LaRocco moves in front of Mike Brown into second place.
You make a little mistake heading up that hill.
Battle. Mike Brown to the inside around the U-turn down the peristyle. Mike Brown took it right back again, David.
Boy, that's classic too. Any amateurs watching this thing, that's the best way to get a guy. As soon as he passes you, he's thinking, okay, that's that. Now let me concentrate on the next rider, and you get him before he even has a chance to settle in.
Ryan Hughes is in 6th place. He will not qualify for the main unless he gets back up. And retaking the lead, Mike LaRocco. LaRocco feels great about his new machine. He's on a Honda. He's got a good independent team support.
Well, he didn't seem like he was very happy where he was. He's been wanting to ride a Honda. He wanted to finish off last season on one. Things didn't work out. Now he gets his chance.
Only 4 laps to go. We'll be right back with the checkered flag waving after these words.
Are you ready for more action, more danger, more impact? Well, your wait is over. The hottest, most intense, extreme Crash Impact ever. Crash Impact 2. 70 minutes of explosive, heart-stopping crash action. You have to see to believe. All new crashes from Superbikes, Harley Seals, drag racing, stock cars, sprint cars, Supercross, Indy cars, flat track, and more. All jam-packed on 2 tapes for only $19.95. Order now and get absolutely free. The new Extreme Sports Virtual Reality, featuring insane extreme sports from around the world like you've never seen before. You'll get the all-new Crash Impact 2, plus the Extreme Sports video free. 3 tapes that'll blow you away. Guaranteed or your money back.
To order, call 1-800-997-2992. That's 1-800-997-2992. Or send $19.95 plus $5.95 shipping and handling to the address on your screen.
The Winter X Games continue on day 2.
Full speed ahead, Mr. Sulu.
It starts with a bang at 4:30 with women's Border X action, and it's all downhill from there. Then at 8:30, Border X finals show who's queen of the hill.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
And finally, winner takes all and some will fall in slopestyle finals, followed by snow mountain bike racing finals.
Make it funky. That is the motto of a winner.
The Winter X Games, tomorrow at 4:30 and 8:30 on ESPN2.
Great look at Huffman, just letting that bike work underneath him through that whoop section, and I like that. He just hopped out from the last bump. He hopped out over the final. The whoop section's interesting here because they're all consistent. They're all spaced exactly the same, and then just before the last one, there's about a 10-foot gap, and then the last one's higher. He's hopping out over that. It's going to save a lot of time.
One guy that's happy that the rain stopped on the floor of the Coliseum's Marty Reed.
Yeah, another one's Damon Huffman. You know, talking to him before the day, and we talk all the time about confidence. Well, he has it right now, especially coming off that World Supercross Championship. He rode very consistently over there, and yes, he did get the break by the fact that Emig did not show up for the last race, but he still says, I'm riding good, and for the first time in a long time, he says, I'm 100% healthy.
The former two-time 125 regional winner had 6 wins, in fact, in 1995. Damon Huffman looking very sharp. And right here, number 5 is LaRocco, second place. Brown in third, Craig in fourth, with Hughes trying to pull it up. White flag, though. Can he do it with one more lap remaining? The white flag is waving for Damon Huffman as we see Mike LaRocco, number 5, come over the finish line jump. LaRocco starting to pick up some time on Huffman.
He's picking up a lot of time. The way he jumped that finish line jump, got right down into that inside line, got right back on the gas. He's riding very aggressive right now. The last lap, Huffman didn't go for the triple on the far side, and that's where LaRocco was able to pick up some time.
LaRocco with a new lease on life. That's Huffman's mechanic, Anthony Paggio.
He knows LaRocco's got a shot at it. Holding his breath right now. I'd like to see his rider win this. Get a little confidence going into the main.
Last year, he had a late charge in the first round of the main event. Late race charge, moving up to 4th. It was a good start on the season for Mike LaRocco.
There you see LaRocco going for the triple. Huffman not doing it. Huffman's taking the far outside, or the left as we see it. LaRocco the far inside. So I have a feeling the face of that jump's filled with ruts. LaRocco's got a better look at that.
Paul DeLoria, his mechanic, trying to encourage him on here in the last lap. But right now, Huffman so smooth through the rhythm section. The checkers are out. The checkers are waving for Damon Huffman. Davey Coombs will be talking with Huffman as we'll take a look at the official final 5. 5 more riders advancing to the main event.
It's over 8 feet long from one end to the other, and it makes you look for the farthest distance between 2 points. The Valkyrie Tour. America's the boulevard it was born to cruise. 6 cylinders, 1,520 cc's. You'll go through towns where you'll be the biggest thing that happens all year. The Valkyrie Tour. America's the boulevard it was born to cruise.
What's the right grip feel like? Should you use the same club on every chip shot? The answers are in Golf Digest. No matter how well you play, you'll find tips and advice that will dramatically improve your game. Guaranteed. Want to know where the slot is at the top of your backswing? Or if you're good enough to carry a 4-iron, subscribe to Golf Digest. 12 issues are only $19.77. You'll also get our video. Hit it longer and straighter, free.
Call 800-247-3900. That's 800-247-3900.
NBA Tonight at midnight, only on ESPN2.
Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. Out of the semifinal, big surprise near the finish line as Lance Smale qualifies for the main event. Ryan Hughes going down, so it's Huffman, LaRocco, Brown, Craig, and Smale going to the main event. And with Damon Huffman right now, Davey Coombs.
Thanks, Art. Very happy Damon Huffman down here. Damon, first of all, tell me about that starter. Looked like he's a real sneaky inside line there.
Yeah, I lined up on the very inside gate, and my heat racer lined up on the outside. It didn't work at all, so I went the extreme opposite. And I shut down a little bit early, but I came out first.
Now, I know that the track's changing a lot. Is there anything different between the heat race and the semi that you can take into the main event with you?
I changed too. I rode, I didn't ride so well that first heat race, but I feel a lot better, and this kind of got me going. So, and the track is getting a little bit better too. There's a lot of deep ruts, but if they keep on working on it, it won't be so bad.
All right, we'll let you go back and get ready for the main, Damon.
All right, thanks a lot.
As we get set for the second semifinal round here at the Los Angeles Coliseum, a great crowd on hand for our opener right now. And taking a look at the Suzuki track map, David Bailey, I really like the start. We've got a good shot of it right there.
Well, it's not too long, not too short, and a big, wide first corner. But what we've seen so far is the guy that gets the hole shot doesn't always come out first. And the next couple of straightaways with a lot of passing, a lot of ruts through there, then onto the finish line and into the first triple. Most of the guys getting over that clean now. The long whoop section, about 75 yards of whoops with a big one right at the end. Up and down the peristyle over to the far side, another triple, and then a big sweeper before they complete a lap back to the mechanics area.
It's no disgrace to go to the semifinals with all this talent we have this year on the Supercross circuit. As we take a look at number 11, Jimmy Button. Button, the teammate of Jeremy McGrath on that Chaparral Yamaha. And Jimmy really has been racing and practicing very well before this opener. He had shoulder surgery, as we mentioned earlier, in the off season right after the motocross at Steel City, and he says he has never dreamed of what he was missing, that the shoulder works so well right now. Let's get on to Marty.
Well, the other thing that's changed for him is his life off the track. Being the teammate now of Jeremy McGrath, and he's a close personal friend as well, it has changed his life because he's finding he's getting more requests for interviews, more requests from fans who want to get closer, of course, to Jeremy, and therefore, because he's a teammate, he is getting a lot of attention, and he says, it's kind of nice, guys.
This is what he had to say before our race time.
I'm not going to be expected to win the next weekend if I win the first weekend. So that's a great thing about it. And also, being with Jeremy, I mean, anybody that would stay with that guy for, more than 10 minutes is going to know he's a positive person. He really rubs off on you a great aura, really. And I think that, a lot of that has happened with me staying with him as much as I have. And I think 98 is going to be a great season, both for me and him. So
30 board is up. Just about set to go in our second semifinal round. The top 5 out of this going to the main event.
And what we're starting to see now is the guys that are lining up closer to the inside. Like Huffman said, they break a little bit early. Everyone goes by them, but they all drift wide, get out into that mud. Guys that come out on the inside are able to get over that little first double jump, are the ones that come out on top.
13 riders have already made it. They've already qualified for the main event. We're looking for 5 more out of semifinal number 2. And riders don't want to go to the last chance qualifier like Ryan Hughes had to do out of that first semifinal round. Whoa, going for a hot ride right there.
Frederic Bollet off the course. He's going to have to start from dead last. And his European counterpart out in front right now.
Tortelli. Sebastian Tortelli, number 103.
European bookends to this semi number 2. Tortelli coming off a win at last week's GFI Invitational Supercross. Beat Emick and Brown in a close battle.
Out of Lawrence, Kansas, Robbie Staggs is in second place. Where's Jimmy Button? Button with a very slow start is just now going into the whoops. 2, 4, 6, 8. He's in 10th place.
He's only one position ahead of Bollet, and Bollet just went by him. So they got a lot of work to do to come from behind. There goes Phil Lawrence. He went down with Tortelli in that first heat.
Lawrence, number 24 on the Moto XXX.
Down the peristyle, no one's been able to jump that double. As you come down, there's a double jump there that's pretty much in the dark. There's a lot of ruts there. It's hard to see. No one's gone for it yet, but if you can make it, you save a lot of time.
You know, David, all kinds of history here at Los Angeles. You were one of those. Well, you were the only one to ever win in the two-moto Supercross format.
Yeah, I really didn't like that two-moto format, but I won here, and I didn't win a moto. I finished third and a second. Still felt good to pick up the win. However, you got to do it.
Tortelli, Skaggs, Lawrence, and Dement are the top four here in our second semifinal round, and we'll be right back to the race for the checkers with more action in a moment.
Chuck, how's business?
Okay.
Hey, what's on your screen?
QuickBooks accounting software from the makers of Quicken.
Yeah, I really don't have time to learn new software.
If you can write a check, you can use QuickBooks. Answer a few questions and it tailors itself to your business. Create invoices like these. It has accounts payable, accounts receivable, payroll, and inventory, and over 60 customizable reports that put you in control.
I'm going to try it.
Nothing to lose.
Call 1-800-344-8300.
George Washington stopped the British at Valley Forge, but he never made stops like these. He never watched hockey, and now he's dead. Watch the NHL on ESPN2 before life passes you by.
As we rejoin the action, take a look at this down that Paris-style chute.
Watch the rider in the yellow jersey trying to go for the double.
Robbie Skaggs. Ooh.
Lucky to walk away from that one.
Wild ride by Skaggs out of Lawrence, Kansas, as we take a look at our leader now. Number 103, Sebastian Tortelli. 2 more laps to go. It's Tortelli, Lawrence, Dement, and Bollé. Bollé, what a story. In 3 laps, went from last to 5th. David Bailey.
That's amazing. A great rise. A little bit radical, but he's fast.
Now he's in 4th. With Koikita. Takashi Koikita in 4th. White flag is out as Tortelli comes across the finish line.
Now you got to look at Lawrence. Still holding down 2nd, but he's so far behind. Tortelli's got a huge, he can stop for a cappuccino. Still have the lead.
Lawrence with Chaparral last year. His best finish was at 8th at Orlando. Got pushed off the track in the earlier action in that race, if you might remember. Did not qualify in the first round here in Los Angeles. Got off to an atrocious start, I should say, in the second round here in LA. 10 double-digit finishes in 13 races that he made the main event. Topped by a 20th in Las Vegas. Now on to Tortelli, our leader.
Just going for the double there. He had a lap rider in the way. The face of that triple is starting to get badly rutted. The only guys that seem to be able to jump it are having to jump it on the far outside near the fans. There's probably one rut out there right next to the hay bales.
Whoa, Tortelli with a little fishtail. The 96 125 World Championship. Sebastian Tortelli was 7th in the second round here in Los Angeles. His first race last year in the United States. That was in the 250 action. In fact, it was his only race last year for Tortelli. The checkers fly. Tortelli takes the victory. We go to the winner's podium when we come back.
Take everything you ever knew about cruiser motorcycles. Everything you ever learned from your older brother. Your friends. Biker movies. Throw it out. Because the Marauder is a cruiser like no other. One only a high-performance company could have built. The Suzuki Marauder. It's time to move on.
Like proper diet and exercise, Craftmatic beds help your body feel better. For watching TV, reading, sewing, or just putting your feet up and relaxing, you can't beat a Craftmatic adjustable bed. Yet Craftmatic Model 2 beds are inexpensive. Call toll-free to get free information by mail about Craftmatic. Call for this important information now.
Call toll-free 1-800-344-8300.
Every week, Barron scours the investment world for growth opportunities. With comprehensive coverage of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, everything that could affect your finances. Subscribe with your credit card now and get 17 weeks of Barron's for the price of 13. That's 4 more opportunities to turn money into wealth. Get 17 weeks of Barron's for only $39. That's 4 weeks free. Call now, toll-free, 800-228-8300. That's 800-228-8300.
Jim Harbaugh and Jay Lewinberg for 1-800-COLLECT.
Jim, next time you call me collect, call me 1-800-COLLECT.
Jay, give it a rest.
No, 1-800-COLLECT is 10 cents a minute every evening, all week long.
Yeah? Are we gonna practice or what?
You should have used 1-800-COLLECT!
Think Jim's learned his lesson?
One more play ought to do it. 1-800-COLLECT. 10 cents a minute every evening, all week long.
Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. Round 1 of AMA Supercross action. The semifinal number 2 just completed. Here you see it. Sebastian Tortelli, the Frenchman, taking it with Phil Lawrence, Frederic Bollet, another Frenchman, Jeff Dement, and Koi Kita from Japan, 5th. That means that Jimmy Button will be battling it out with Ryan Hughes in a last chance qualifier. Let's go down to Davey.
Okay, Art, for the second time, we have a Frenchman up here joining us on the podium. We'll see how this guy's English is. Sebastian, congratulations on winning here in Los Angeles.
Thanks a lot. I'm very happy, you know, I'm glad to be here because it's my first time and I'm here. You know, there are so many people in the stadium. I'm impressed by here.
Do you consider yourself a mud rider, Sebastian?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a European rider, so I'm riding in a mud. Today was my first time in the Supercross in a mud, but I mean, that's kind of the same thing. But I think for the main, the track will be perfect and like, you know, we don't even know it was raining before.
Well, listen, we'll let you go back and get ready for the main event right now. Congratulations, Sebastian.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks, Davey. Let's take a look at the schedule for this year in Supercross. We go from Los Angeles to Houston, the history-making Sun Devil Stadium last year. Great crowd. Then Seattle to the Kingdome on January 31st. Back to San Diego February 7th. And then up to Indianapolis before heading south to Atlanta. Daytona on March 7th. New Orleans returns to the Supercross schedule. Then the Metrodome, St. Louis, and Pontiac. Charlotte Motor Speedway, Texas Stadium with the big finale in Las Vegas, Nevada. Joining us here in the booth, Matt LeBlanc of Friends and Stephen Baldwin. Not only motorcycle enthusiasts, but also, well, you're having a good time here today.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is the best.
Yeah, what the latest project, Stephen?
A couple of feature films, one titled One Tough Cop, produced by Marty Bregman, and with myself and Chris Penn and Gina Gershon, another picture called Scarred City, with myself and Chaz Palminteri.
Matt, you've got something going too. It's opening up pretty soon.
Yeah, I did a film for New Line this past summer called Lost in Space, a remake of the old series with William Hurt and Gary Oldman. Big science fiction action. It was a lot of fun, and now we're just, you know, plugging along on Friends. This is a great season this year, and the writing is just maintained, and it's just been really, really fun.
Now, I know both you guys ride, but what actually brought you out to watch Supercross tonight?
I think we came down to support our boy, Jeremy.
McGrath!
Can't plug McGrath enough. He's the man.
He's the Elvis of motocross.
Well, congratulations on your latest projects. Good luck with them, and thanks for dropping by the booth.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All
right. So instead of winning the series, they now go to a pivotal Game 7. Rich?
If you're really into sports, you'll really be into new ESPN, the magazine. Issue after issue, you'll be involved like no sports magazine ever involved you before.
Do we have a problem here?
ESPN, the magazine, is big. Bigger in size, bigger with news, pictures, player profiles, inside information, and amazing access to places you've never been before. So call now for ESPN, the magazine. Get 26 issues, a year's worth, for just $1 an issue, saving you over 66% off the newsstand price. And you'll get this great freebie.
T-shirts!
The ESPN The Magazine t-shirt. 100% cotton with the world-famous ESPN The Magazine bullseye logo. ESPN The Magazine. At last, you have something to do when you're not watching ESPN.
Call 1-800-987-7766.
Hey, have you met Michigan guy?
He's here! The Michigan guy is here!
Hey, how you doing?
This is Kentucky guy.
This is Coach Pitino.
I thought he went to Boston.
He didn't go to Boston. No, I know. No, Coach doesn't care for Boston.
Are you out of your mind? This is egg. What kind of idiot puts egg in potato salad? That's a T. You are gone! Oh, is that right, Caesar boy? Well, you're the worst dresser I've ever seen.
To the Naismith House.
Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. While we were away, Jimmy Button, Ryan Hughes just barely made it into the main event, edging out the East 125 champion of last year, Tim Ferry, for the final spot. The roster of 20 riders now complete for the 250 main. Out on the track, number 111, Jeff Matasevich, is the parade lap just continuing for the 125 main event. Usually we say for the future superstars of the sport, this guy, he's a two-time 125 champion, David Bailey.
Well, he's future and past.
Also winning at Las Vegas in the 250 Supercross, went over to Japan, and is now back competing. As we take a look at the Suzuki point standings, how they finished up last year in the West. Kevin Windham, of course, has moved on to the 250 ranks. Robbie Raynard, Casey Johnson, Villeman, and Casey Lytle. And a good friend of ours is down there at the gate, once again giving advice. Let's go to Marty Reed.
Yeah, that guy giving advice is Skip Norfolk, but the guy we're talking about is Sean Palmer. He is a 4-time world snowboarding champion. He's an X Games champion. He's going to be competing in the Winter X Games next weekend on ESPN2. And listen to this. He had a bet with Mitch Payton, who is the head man at the Pro Circuit Racing. He said, hey, Mitch, if I make the main event, you got to give me semi-trailer support for the rest of the season. Guess what, guys? He made the main event. Mitch Payton says, you got the support.
We take a look at the Suzuki starting grid. Michael Brandes, very impressive. Who will get the whole shot money?
John Dowd, Ron Cotta, Huffman. There's going to be a lot of talent up in there. And going back to Sean Palmer, he also won the downhill, beating John Tomac, all those guys that have been in there established. This guy is the jack of all trades tonight.
David Pingree also at the gate, getting ready, shaking it off. Jason McCormick.
Another look at Palmer right there, 224. That's the number Lachine carried his first year as a professional.
Revving up and we're ready to go. On the inside, Ryan Huffman. Number 28, Ryan Huffman, the leader, with John Dowd in good position in second place. Dowdy comes on strong late. He's also a good mudder. Number 29, David Pingree in third. Pingree, real good start for his first main event under the FMF flag.
And a mid-pack start for number 111, Matasevich. He's got plenty of time to work his way to the front, but he's got a long ways to go.
Brian Deegan has moved into fifth spot now, and our leader continues to rev it up. Quite a story, Ryan Huffman out of Roseburg, Oregon, on the Primal Suzuki. And of course, this year, Team Suzuki has a support 125 team in Primal Suzuki.
Moving into third, Brandes. Around Pingree.
Brandes from Team Stiffy, the clothing firm.
Brandes looked good in his preliminary qualifier. Looked good in his heat race.
He had a fourth place finish in Phoenix last year. And then came up with a fistfight affair in Los Angeles.
Well, that's all behind him now, and he's got to look at the leaders.
John Dowd starting to pick up some space now on the young Ryan Huffman. A 250 privateer last year. Won a semifinal, won an LCQ, mostly made the mains with second and thirds in the semifinal round. Oh, we're getting close now. John Dowd coming up on the back tire. And right there is number 32, Jason McCormick. McCormick battling it out with David Pingree.
Gets the edge. These guys are starting to lose a little time to the leader. Dowd goes for the pass.
Dowd making the pass at the finish line.
Brian Berry happy about that. Dowd jumped up over that camel hump. Took a little chance. It wasn't pretty, but it worked.
This is the battle for third.
McCormick starting to get a little lead now on his teammate. You can see the leaders in front of him starting to get away. He wants to get up there and join that group. If he doesn't get up there now, Dowd will be gone.
McCormick out of Vancouver, Washington, a persistent privateer who finally got a break with a ride from an independent team.
And McCormick knows that if he doesn't beat Dowd, it doesn't really matter. It's second place to Dowd right here would be as good as a win, but to get up there and beat him, certainly give him some confidence and shove everybody back in the point.
Here comes Ryan Huffman back on the triple. He regains the lead away from John Dowd. This is going to be a bar-to-bar battle, I have a feeling, the entire rest of the race.
Well, he made a statement there by going for the triple. There hasn't been many 125s going for it.
Dowdy winning the Eastern opener in Indianapolis of 125 action last year. Let's go down to Marty.
Yeah, we're down here with Brian Berry. He's watching his rider. Was that triple and double? The fact that your man took a double, is that the difference when one guy's going for Western points and the other guy's using it as a tune-up?
John's racing the West Coast this year, so they're both here. They're both racing the West. This is for the lead.
Hey guys, we just learned something because the score sheet said that he was going to run Eastern, but now we just heard that Brian's running with
Absolutely,
his man.
That's a big surprise to me. But John Dowd right now he's racing for points. John Dowd up the peristyle, starting to pull the lead then on number 28, Ryan Huffman. So good information, Marty. Thanks for grabbing that out.
Don't know how I missed it, but this is important.
Dowd, Huffman, McCormick, Pingree, and Roncada now moves into 5th place.
Now this time the difference is heading into the triple. We'll be anxious to see if he does it. Even if he doesn't, though, he's got a good enough lead over Huffman. Yeah, he just goes for the double. There goes Huffman over the triple. And you can believe it. Dowd can hear that crowd erupt when Huffman makes it, so he knows he's got to have a little lead there if he's not going to go for it to hang on to the lead.
Our Suzuki Field summary just popped up on the screen, but now Roncada has passed Pingree. Moving into 4th place in this 125 main event, the first of the year for the Western region. Well, can we hold their positions as Dowd leads Huffman, McCormick, Roncada, and Pingree? We'll find out when we come back.
Suzuki has completely restyled the Katana 600 and 750, from their dual halogen headlights to their 4-in-1 stainless steel exhausts.
Same time tomorrow? Yeah.
So now they're just as impressive on the outside as they've always been on the inside.
Discover the amazing hitting secrets of America's finest baseball school in Teaching the Mechanics of the Major League Swing 2. Tommy Maskey's powerful teaching video that features the same revolutionary techniques that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Parents, players, and coaches have been simply amazed at their students' rapid week-by-week improvement. These award-winning techniques benefit players of all ages and ability levels and make a valuable addition to any coach's library and a great gift. At just $29.95, call now.
Kenny Keene battles Richie LaMontagne tonight at 9, only on ESPN2.
Skip Norfolk giving more advice. Let's go to Marty.
Well, we don't know exactly what's wrong. The bike has been shut off, and they're having a conversation. Obviously, he's out of the race. The goggles are off. Something's not running quite well for Sean Palmer.
Here's the battle. Roncada makes the move. Ryan Huffman edges back out in front. It's bar to bar in 125 West Coast action. Roncada making the move on Huffman.
That got a little tight, jumping down the peristyle there. Their lines came together just a little bit. They got close. Roncada held the inside line, though, and now nobody between him and Dowd.
John Dowd with a 10-second lead. Can Roncada, though, pick up that much time? Brandis and Huffman going at it for third as we take a look at Dowd coming out of the peristyle U-shaped curve. Brian Berry going back to the board. Look at here. It is Brandis and Huffman. Huffman with the edge, number 28, but Brandis comes back as they bang bars. Number 25 and 28 in the horseshoe coming down the peristyle.
Looked like Brandis was just going to swoop right around him on the outside.
It did, didn't it?
Huffman just drifted out there a little bit, cut the line off. There's Dowd as he exits this corner. You should see Roncada. Yep, just going the other way. Just can see his helmet going by. He is getting closer. He's got him in his sights on this straightaway. That gives you inspiration when you know you've got enough time left and you can see the guy. Oh, another mistake by Dowd.
John Dowd looks like he's out of rhythm. Let's take a look now at the Honda stopwatch and see how the times are with John Dowd to our second place rider. Roncada, 5.1.
Well, he's cutting it down. He took another second off that lap. My calculations are correct. You're going to see a huge differential back to third, which is now Brandis. 16 seconds. Huffman going by, McCormick, the lapped rider, and then Pingree.
That was Justin Nelson from El Cajon, California. It's down, Roncada, Brandis, Huffman, and McCormick. An impressive lineup here in the first round of West Coast 125 action.
Big sweeper before the mechanics area. I love that corner.
5 laps to go on Brian Berry's board.
Plenty of time. If Dowd keeps making little mistakes like this, it's plenty of time for Roncada.
Proud. He's got an element of toughness, though, Dowd does.
Oh, yeah. It's not going to be one thing to catch a guy. I've done it plenty of times to catch a guy and you're thinking, okay, he's mine. And you get there and all of a sudden the guy turns it up a notch, starts fighting you. You can't get by. That could be the case. Dowd is not easy to pass. Like I said, he's fit. He's got the energy to put up a fight. Minute 18. These are the same lap times the 250s were running in the heat races. So these guys are they're going all out right now.
John Dowd, of course, we mentioned before, the oldest rider in the field. Back in the 125s, he had very little action, very little experience really on the 125s because he started racing late and he started really running 250s. But Yamaha had the spot open, and they needed him to ride 125s, and John Dowd's just that kind of character. Here's the Suzuki field summary now. Dowd, Roncada, Brandis, Huffman, and McCormick. A lot of youngsters there looking to make their mark in back of John Dowd.
Dowd once again entering that big sweeper to the mechanics area, just going for the double.
Huffman and McCormick are going at it right now before the finish line jump. Number 28 is Huffman. McCormick, his best friend, is right behind him. Meanwhile, Dowd and Roncada are pulling away in first and second.
And Dowd has responded. Roncada was shaving out about 2 seconds a lap. And Dowd has just picked it up. It's actually opened that gap up. Looks like maybe 12 seconds or so.
You're pretty close with your estimate. We got a 10-second count there, David Bailey. That's pretty good all the way across the Coliseum.
I've guessed at this a couple, 2-3 times. Look at the view as they jump back into the stadium.
This is Jason McCormick out of Vancouver, Washington. The white flag is out. One more lap for John Dowd.
All the photographers lined up there in that finish line jump. I don't think Dowd's going to throw his bike the way Deegan did.
By the way, Nathan Ramsey, for you fans that follow him, he's gone from 15th to 7th place. He might be a factor in this West Coast 125 region season coming up.
Hey, it's certainly picked up
Michael
pace.
Brandis, number 25 and third.
Brandis looks good. Completely different rider, in my opinion, from last year. A new team, new outfit, new attitude. Looked good in this heat race earlier. Third in the main is not too bad to start the season. A little bit better start. Things may have been a lot different.
What's been impressive behind John Dowd is just the way the youngsters have battled it out and are trying to take advantage of the opportunity here with few veterans in the Western region.
Not far to go. A few lappers in his way right now for Dowd before the finish line, but he's got enough lead. He doesn't have to worry about it.
With Kevin Windham leaving the West Division, we were anxiously awaiting who it might be. The guy who takes the crown this year, and John Dowd is off to a great start, taking the checkered flag. John Dowd, Stefan Roncada looks like in second place. Number 18, with Brandis in third on the podium. To the podium and the 1998's first 125 Supercross winner after these words.
A crowd of two-wheeled enthusiasts gathers at the Honda factory in Marysville, Ohio. From all over America, they've come to see the unveiling of Honda's latest motorcycle.
Today, we are proud to introduce to you the Honda Shadow Aero.
The bike seems to be a real hit with the crowd.
Isn't she beautiful, folks?
And why not? This thoroughly modern motorcycle sports the latest in streamlined design. Wide handlebars, deluxe floorboards, and its sleek exhaust pipe looks like something right out of the pages of science fiction. And here's Miss Aero showing off the bike's dazzling choice of colors. The Honda Aero is available today. And what's the verdict in Marysville? There you have it, and it's full speed ahead for the bike of tomorrow.
It's the first Grand Slam of the year, and the top seeds are all over it. But a few upstarts are making noise, and down under, anything can happen. The Australian Open. Coverage begins Sunday night at 12:30 on ESPN2.
We're back at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs, and Marty Reed. You see here the official finish of the 125 main event, the first of the year. John Dowd victorious, Stefan Roncada, Michael Brandis, Ryan Huffman, Jason McCormick, and as we look through 6 through 10, we're ready to go down to Davey Coombs on that winner's platform. And I guess, Davey, what I'm curious about up here is with the late notice and not on AMA rosters for John Dowd being in the West region, is this an attempt to avoid Ricky Carmichael, so strong in that East? Down to you, Davey.
Well, that's what I was about to ask him. John, first of all, what are you doing here? We are expecting you to be on the East Coast.
Yeah, well, I guess I was probably expecting that too a little while back, but I guess, you know, the way Yamaha wanted to set up their team this year, they decided to cover the West Coast because that's where most of their corporate people and stuff go. So I guess, I mean, you know, so that's what they tell me. But yeah,
well, we were thinking it might have been either the weather, the fact you guys showed up here and saw it raining, or possibly that kid Ricky Carmichael back in the East.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure that might have something to do with it, but I don't know. I think either way, you know, the racing's gonna be good, and you know, there's a bunch of guys on this side too. And for me, it doesn't really matter. I'm just I'm happy to be out here racing.
Well, you put on a really solid performance. You've always known that you were a good wet weather rider. You showed you're a good Supercross rider in the wet weather as well tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I love riding the mud and outdoor races and stuff, but I've never really liked it too much in Supercross. But I was a little nervous coming into tonight. But I think you know, I'd like to thank Yamaha and Bridgestone for putting together a good combination here. The bike worked excellent, and I couldn't have done it without them guys and my mechanic Brian. And I'd also like to thank Fox, Arai Helmets, Scott Goggles, and Gary Semix for helping me train, because I felt pretty strong for the whole thing. And I guess, you know, that's probably most of the reason, is I was strong enough to hold on the whole way.
All right, John. Well, listen, congratulations on your first win here in Los Angeles, a first big step toward the first pro title of a long and great career.
Thanks a lot. Hope there's more to come.
Thanks, Davey. As we take a look at the Suzuki point standings, on our way to Houston for round number 2, John Dowd with that 3-point edge. Looked like conditioning to me won out in that particular race. The 125 celebration continues on the podium here in Los Angeles. It's the 250s, the essence of finesse and power, coming up next from the Coliseum.
Although the GSX-R 750 just won back-to-back AMA Supersport championships, and the GSX-R 600 had the most AMA 600 Supersport victories, we weren't satisfied. We made over 20 major improvements to the 600 and gave the 750 electronic fuel injection. Now even its shadow can't keep up. the GSX-R 600 and the GSX-R 750 from Suzuki.
Dust bunnies under the chair, dust so thick it's everywhere? You need Static Duster, the cleaning sensation that cuts cleaning time in half. Charge Static Duster on any TV screen. The charge is so powerful, dust and dirt leap onto the wand. Clean, delicate collectibles. Great for louver doors and blinds, grids and grills. Clean the screen under the machine. Great for all your electronics. Static Duster slips into shelves, snakes around corners, dust leaps off plants and soak flowers. Now order Static Duster for only $14.95. But wait, you get a second Static Duster with extension handle. It stretches to reach moldings and bends for hard-to-reach places. As a bonus, you get the Tiny Duster. The complete kit only $14.95, but we're not through yet. You'll get Stain Ender, the miracle remover that blasts away stains. It's a $20 value, and it's yours free when you order Static Duster. Here's how to order.
To order Static Duster for only $14.95 plus shipping, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-817-3388. Or send check or money order to the address on your screen. Sorry, no CODs.
The tallest mountain in North America is 20,320 feet. Cool.
AMA Supercross is being brought to you by Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. Quality training for the motorcycle industry. 61,855 Supercross fans here at the Los Angeles Coliseum tonight for round number 1 of our AMA series. Art Ekman, David Bailey up top in the press box area. And David, while many of us had eyes on McGrath and Emig during the heat racing, several young names popped up. Opportunistic young people who want to get a victory here tonight and looked very good in the heat racing.
Right, and we're talking, I think, about Pichon, Lusk, and Kevin Windham. Now, I'm not so surprised by Lusk's success because he won a couple of races last year in Supercross and his recent success in Japan. But Windham surprised me a little bit with the way he rode. I mean, I know he's got the potential to ride well, of course, with his win in Charlotte. But man, he's there and he's on pace. But on the other hand, Pichon in the other heat race, he didn't look like he was going that fast. But his heat race total time was only 1 second slower, so he's there.
It's been a windy, cool evening here in Los Angeles after lots of rain yesterday, and so the track has been progressively changing. Let's go down to Marty Reed down at the gate now and recheck the conditions there.
Well, the best thing I can tell you is give you an indication just how good the track is really coming in for this 250 main. In the heat race, most of the guys were going with the solid rotors just to keep the mud from clogging it up. Well, we checked just about everybody, including Jeff Emig, Jeremy McGrath, all the big players. Everybody is going to the slotted rotor, so they're not worried about it getting clogged up.
That's a good sign, isn't it, when the mechanics are busy with that type of activity? Good catch, Marty.
Yeah, it's looking good. It looks good everywhere but on the racetrack. You can see back in the everywhere off the racetrack, it's still pretty soupy. Good look at Emig coming down the peristyle, checking things out.
Here's how they ended up in 1997 as we take a look at the Suzuki point standings. Jeff Emig winning by that margin over Jeremy McGrath. A lot of people said, hey, Jeremy McGrath, he says he had the worst season ever. It's true, but he had a great season under normal standards. Ezra Lusk, of course, in third with Ward, the top independent team rider. And Albertine, of course, rounding out that top 5 as we take a look at the starting grid. Lots of great names there. Mike Brown back in America. Lance Smale on a 2-stroke qualified. And we've got quite a foreign contingent at the starting gate as well. And our prediction came true, David Bailey. We've got 10 riders on the gate who have won Supercross races before. The foreign invasion: Greg Albertine of South Africa, Stéphane Roncada from France, Mikel Pichon from France, Sebastian Tortelli from France, and we have a Japanese rider, Koiketa, and Bollet from France.
Ready! There's only one thing left to say. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
The unforgettable phrase by Mr. Buffer. It's great to have him. The 30-second board is up, and we are set for round number 1.
Jeremy McGrath with a new helmet paint job has "Let's Get Ready to Rumble" on the left side of his mouth guard. There's a good look at Emig. You see the tear-offs up there.
What's always interesting about the first round of the year, all the new number changes, and now we're just about set to go. Who will win the $1,500 whole shot award? Sticking the nose out there is number 19, Doug Henry. Henry with
McGrath
and McGrath. McGrath going into second place as they go through the timing section before the finish line jump. So it's Henry, McGrath, Emig.
Albertine right there, last year's winner, followed by Wyndham. All in good position, but Henry starting to pull away a little bit now.
Henry in first place, taking advantage, but Jeremy McGrath in great position. Emig in a battle with Albertine. Albertine went bar to bar and then slips back. Here comes Albie. Number 7 had a tough time there at the end of the whoops.
Great start. I worried me seeing Jeremy get the whole shot, go into that corner with everybody right up his fender. Almost looked like last year they're going to get up there and the way he and Lamson got together, but he got out of there clean.
Wyndham in 6th place, David.
He's in pretty good position. There's going to be the fitness is going to play a part. Lapped riders towards the end.
Here comes Jeremy. The crowd anticipating, getting excited. Doug Henry on the 4-stroke Yamaha with McGrath in 2nd, Emig in 3rd, Albie in 4th. Damon Huffman in 5th and Wyndham in 6th. There's Albie right on the back tire of Emig.
This is just unbelievable. That a great start. I would expect that 4-stroke to hook up and get a great start. He did, and wouldn't it be something if Henry picked up where he left off at the end of last year, winning again on that 4-stroke.
Unbelievable. Doug Henry, our leader here in the early going of our round number 1 from the Los Angeles Coliseum.
Pete Steinbrecher, shot of him there with his, keeping his fingers crossed. Jeremy almost.
Here comes McGrath. McGrath in the whoops. They bang a little bar, and Henry regains the lead. You know, Henry told us before it's a good feeling to go into the season knowing he's going to be totally dedicated to the 4-stroke.
I feel a lot better than last year having to ride 2 different bikes. This year I've spent, you know, ever since actually Houston was the last time I rode a 2-stroke or a 250. So ever since then I've been pretty much just riding 4-strokes and getting used to that. And this year I feel more comfortable probably than I did any other year.
Pashon has moved up to 7th as we look back at the pack now. There you see Emig, last year's defending champion, last year's winner Albertine, as they flip through the screen.
Terrible start for Lusk. There you see Tortelli going by. You know, the way it looks to me, Art, Doug Henry can click off these laps all night long. Jeremy is going to have to find a way around. He is going to have to go out and find a new line, pick up the pace, and make the pass.
What an incredible start to our round number 1 here in Los Angeles. We'll be back with the action in a moment.
Warning, don't try this at home. It's just kidding. 35 of the world's funniest practical jokes now on one incredible home video. Stand back. Look out. You might be caught when you least expect it. These uncut, uncensored practical jokes can be yours for only $19.95. But that's not all. If you call right now, we'll also send you Volume 2. That's an additional 35 of the world's funniest gags. You'll get Just Kidding, Volumes 1 and 2. That's 70 side-splitting pranks for only $19.95. You won't believe your eyes. It's no joke. It's Just Kidding. Order now.
To order Just Kidding, call 1-800-652-3993. And if you order now, we'll also send you Volume 2. That's an additional 35 pranks absolutely free. So call now.
You watched for them. Unbelievable! Prayed for them. Rooted for them. Now, vote for them. The greatest sports moments of 1997. Which ones deserve a Fan's Choice ESPY? Watch Sports Center to see the year's best. Or log onto ESPN Sports Zone. Then vote for the Fan's Choice ESPYs, sponsored by Pennzoil and General Motors.
Welcome back to the Coliseum. The action hot and heavy. Doug Henry still holding on the lead. He's not the kind of rider to crack, but can he hold off? Jeremy McGrath hungry for another championship.
Well, he certainly has proven it before. He can hold him off. He won here last year at round 2.
And Emig is picking up behind Jeremy McGrath, so we're going to get a logjam pretty soon. It'll be very, very interesting.
Well, what's going to happen, I think, what's happening right now is Doug made a bobble. Jeremy sees the opportunity to get in and apply the pressure, because Jeremy's feeling it right now from Emig. So they're tightening the screws. We're going to have a really close battle here in a minute.
One advantage of being out in front, especially with that 4-stroke, is being able to take the line you want.
The roost coming off that thing, I bet you doesn't feel too good either, and Jeremy's right in it.
Emig, 4 seconds behind the leader. In third place has Jeremy McGrath. Gets a little dirt on the boot as he turned the corner going up the scope.
The advantage that Doug's got right now is that 4-stroke has got great power. It hits in different spots, and it throws a good roost. And because of the conditions of the track, as Marty talked about, it's dried out in the best line. Doug's in the best line. So for Jeremy to go and find a way around, it's going to be tough, and he's going to have to just stay as close as possible and force Doug into a mistake.
Henry, McGrath, Emig, Albertine, and Wyndham are Suzuki field summary. And still, McGrath just knocking on the door. Jeremy McGrath, he knows how to win first rounds. He's won a Supercross record 3 first rounds in his career. No one else has done that.
He's in great position to make it 4.
Albie still in 4th behind Emig. Emig now pulling up. He's getting closer, within 2 seconds of the leader.
He may consider earplugs.
Oh, Jeremy bobbles coming off the finish line jump. Jeff Emig now battling it out for second place. The Kawasaki rider now goes into second, but here comes Jeremy. Jeremy with not quite the power, taking the short turn.
Slick move. He went out there knowing that Jeff had the best line, tried to square it off, but it's pretty muddy out there. He got a little sideways, couldn't quite get him back.
Damon Huffman is starting to move up on Albie.
A little bit of a gift there for Emig, but he was close enough to take advantage.
Boy, one little mistake this year.
Keep the pressure on, stay close, make your own luck. Emig was there to take advantage.
You know, everybody was wondering, hey, we got Kudrowski retiring, we got Bradshaw retiring, we got Swink retiring. It doesn't matter.
No, there's plenty of talent still out there. And as fast as these guys are going, Albertine is right there. He's actually starting to apply the pressure to Jeremy.
Let's check in with Marty Reed.
Yeah, down here with Pete Steinbrecher. Pete, we talked about the engine brake earlier in the heat race. It doesn't seem to be a problem here, that's for sure.
No, you know what, a little bit earlier when we were practicing, it's real slippery. And when we talk about the engine brake, you back off the throttle, and if it's real slick, it's just like putting the back brake on, so it's very hard to keep it straight. And the track's pretty tacky, so then now if you back off the throttle, the back end doesn't slide around, it just kind of brakes in a straight line.
Well, that's the technical side. The easy side is your man's out in front and he's pulling away.
Well, he's got a lot of work cut out for him because he's got a lot of great riders behind him.
Hey guys, to put a period on this, remember one thing, that is now a production bike. It's about 3 to 5 pounds heavier than the factory works model that they used last year.
Henry out in front, Emig in second. McGrath and Albie going at it right there. Albie number 7, I should say, and McGrath number 2. Albertine comes up on the back rubber momentarily for McGrath as they start around the corner, the sweeper.
Just behind these guys, Huffman, number 15, close enough. You can see him just behind Albertine right there. Huffman, notorious for those late race charges. Doesn't use a lot of energy when he rides. Fitness isn't that big of a deal. The kid's so smooth and sneaky. Oh! A horrible crash right before the finish line. You can see at the top of your screen there. Albertine got out of shape.
Albertine, number 7 getting up, and number 15, Damon Huffman getting up.
Albertine was He tried to jump up that step, got out of control, and
we got a three-way battle for the lead right now. Here's Henry going up the peristyle. It's Emig and McGrath. Boy, coming through those whoops. They were just very close to one another. Maybe a second and a half dividing the top three. Number 19 on the four-stroke. Can he make it? 2 wins in a row after creating history in Las Vegas with the first four-stroke victory in the history of Supercross.
Yeah, I'm thinking that these 3 guys have got to be, I've got to be thinking that somewhere in there they're having a little bit of fun right now. It's got to be pretty fun for Henry to be out there leading on the four-stroke. Emig is looking a lot better than he did in his heat race, and Jeremy, this is a much better finish and a result. At least it's looking like it'll turn into one than last year.
With
they're all on the podium.
Henry, Emig, and McGrath out in front. Pashon, Wyndham, and Laraco, the next 3.
It's great to be in these battles. You got number 1 and 2 right there together in a four-stroke. They're going, man, we're going to need earplugs if this continues. Steinbrecher looking on. He knows. He's right. He's got a lot of work to do. One mistake.
He's gritting his teeth.
He can drop from 1st to 5th.
Nice triple move by McGrath. Pashon moving up behind McGrath. McGrath trying to challenge Emig now for 2nd place. Number 2 versus number 1. McGrath doesn't like that number 2 plate. He's the sport's winningest rider.
And look who just joined the party. Number 16, Pashon, the winner of the 2nd heat race.
Boy, Pashon is really impressive. He doesn't look like he's working that hard either, going that fast.
He doesn't. Too bad for Albie and Damon Huffman. Huffman was just following him, had nowhere to go.
I kind of have the feeling anything can happen. We'll find out after we get back from these words from our sponsors.
Now is the time to train for the career you've always wanted. Just ask Motorcycle Mechanics Institute graduate Al Luddington, now lead mechanic for Honda's championship-winning Smokin' Joe's Superbike team.
MMI gave me the knowledge and training to take me to the top of my profession. It's a great place to start, and I recommend it to anybody looking to kick off a career in motorcycle mechanics or the personal watercraft industry.
Change your life with one phone call, 1-800-994-3664. That's 1-800-994-3664. Call today.
Beauty, adventure, drama. All these and more can be yours in the wonderful world of art. And with this free art test from Art Instruction Schools, you can find out if you have the interest and desire needed to become a serious art student. To get your free art test without cost or obligation, call this toll-free number. Don't delay. Call this toll-free number now. Call 1-800-344-8300.
With ESPN magazine coming out, I really hope they take every precaution to avoid the coveraging situation. Something that's plagued me my entire career. Tiger beat in '93, I sprained my ankle. Model Railroader '96, I went into a 5-game slump. Cat Fancy almost ended my career. I know one thing, I'm never doing Cat Fancy again.
Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. Art Ekman and David Bailey up top. Marty Reed down on the stadium floor. Davey Coombs covering the interviews for us on the winner's podium. Who will be the winner of this race right now? Pashon, number 16 of Team Suzuki, is hounding the Chaparral Yamaha of Jeremy McGrath as they come across the finish line jump. One more lap clicks off.
This is a career race right now for Pashon. First time on a 250 to be up like this, challenging for the lead, the season opener.
Especially, right, he's going right through the area that last year he broke his leg in a disaster of crash. It was awful. It was one of those things you hope they don't replay.
Well, I don't want to see it again. I don't think he does, and he's put it behind him. He's riding fantastic right now.
You know, Henry smoothed things out. He's looking pretty confident. He's got a 2-second lead on Emig.
You know, the longer you can hold those guys back there, the less they start to bother you. You get a guy right back there the whole time, you know if you just make a mistake, he can get by. And you start to ride a little nervous and defensive, but like you said, Henry has opened up a little bit of a lead now, and that'll help him relax. Take some lines he wants to take.
The battle for third, Pashon starting to test the inside of Jeremy McGrath every now and then, showing him a little wheel or two.
Jeremy knows if he occupies the best line, doesn't make any mistakes, Pichon's going to have to do something pretty heroic to get his way around.
As Henry crosses the finish line, we've reached the halfway mark. Anything can still happen, believe me. Emig in second place, and look at that! Oh my goodness, Pichon leaps by Jeremy McGrath. Lusk has moved from 16th up to 10th after that horrendous start. So our new leader, or I should say the new lineup, is Henry, Emig, Pichon, McGrath, Wyndham, and Larocco.
The former 125 title holders, Pichon, and looking back to Kevin Wyndham now, number 8. Not that far out of this. Both these guys moving up into the 250, knocking on the door for a win.
Jeremy McGrath, he's got a new mechanic this year, Randy Lawrence, and Randy Lawrence is a great conditioner himself, a great athlete, but they're great friends, and it's one of those things. There you see Randy Lawrence there, making out the board before Jeremy comes by. They are great friends, as I mentioned, and have wonderful respect for one another.
Couldn't quite see what he had on there, but Randy Lawrence is one talented character. He's good at everything. Great to have those guys paired up.
Let's go down to Marty. Excuse me, David. Marty.
Well, what he had on the board was breed, but what was stunning to all of us is that Mikel Pichon passed your guy, put him back to 4th.
And look at this.
Yeah, we're just we did a lot of testing over the couple months that he's been on the Yamaha, and got the bike really set up good for riding the hard courses and things like that. And we come here and then it starts raining. He hasn't really had much time on the bike in any money situations. So we're just trying to ride smart tonight and not do anything stupid and lose out on any big points.
Okay, guys, that's the side down here.
That's good strategy after the way it started off last year. I mean, if he could have just had a better result here last year, he could have won the title. So it's smart. If somebody's going a little bit faster and pushing him out of his comfort zone, well, let him get by. Maybe learn a little, might be able to get him back.
Henry has now moved out to a 3.5-second lead. The closest battle right now is for second place. Pichon is picking up things on Jeff Emig, the defending champion, trying to hold off the Frenchman who lives near Le Mans.
Emig will find himself riding defensive here in a minute. He knows how to do it. He's going to have to, but like I pointed out in the heat race, Pichon, a lot like Jean-Michel Bayle, he'll find his way around. I can't believe he found his way around Jeremy where he did. Right in this section right here, coming up the finish line jump. Squared that corner. Made a pass. He can definitely get around Emig. These guys haven't ridden together very much. Emig doesn't know what to do to hold Pichon back.
Through the whoops, Pichon has that wheel high as he goes in, trying to pick up time, and we got a crash now.
Off the triple right before the whoops.
Is that Lusk?
Kevin Wyndham and Lusk got together. Lusk went down hard. You can see his clutch lever bent all the way down. His visor's bent down in front of his face.
Oh, tough break for Team Honda's Ezra Lusk, who looks so strong in the heat race.
I was just about to say, he's made an incredible charge from way back in the pack, was challenging Wyndham. The leaders aren't that far in front of Wyndham. Lusk was there and went down hard.
Do you think it was of great value to have Pichon having to qualify today and got extra laps in on this track?
Well, it certainly didn't hurt from the looks of things now. Sometimes you get a little bit more time on the racetrack. Oh, Pichon goes down. Took an outside line trying to get around Jeff Emig. Stuck the front wheel right into that second jump.
And he's got a long way to come back. You make one mistake these days, and it is a long road to come back. Here is our leader, number 19 on the 4-stroke, Doug Henry. Let's start this Honda stopwatch and try to get an interval between first and second at least. Yes, 2.7 seconds on Emig in second. There goes McGrath in third. Number 103, Tortelli, he has come from a long way back. 16 is Pichon. Here's Wyndham, number 8. 7 laps to go. Our first big main event of the year.
Larry Ward, Craig, Albertine, Larocco on the Honda coming through. You can see the strategy's really starting to pay off. Jeremy just trying to be smart. He let Pichon get around. I don't think he let him get around, but he was forced to let Pichon get around, and by playing it smart, Pichon went down, and now Jeremy's right back in the hunt. He's starting to knock on the door of Jeff Emig.
A great race out in front by Doug Henry, and What goes through your mind, David? You've been in this situation so many times in the past, in your championship years especially, when you know you've got that crop of great riders in back of you, and yet you're still pulling a little bit of a lead.
Well, you love it and you hate it. You just want that white flag to come out and have the race be over, because that pressure, it just builds and builds and builds. You know that you've got to do everything perfect, but when you do it, it's so gratifying. There's your lap time, minute 17. A second faster than John Dowd, and not even quite a full second. That tells you how fast Dowd was going in the 125 class.
Oh, the ruts are getting deep. One little mistake on the ruts, and you could drop 5 positions the way things are happening now.
I like the way Wyndham got around that corner as he went around that berm, getting into the whoop-de-doos. He rode the front wheel real high around the berm. Uh-oh, Craig going off the racetrack. Wyndham rode that front wheel real high around the berm. That lets the engine cases and the foot pegs and everything get a little bit higher up out of the ground. It doesn't drag through that rut, so you don't build up mud in there.
During that action, David, Tortelli, who won the warm-up race at Paris, California last week, passed McGrath for 3rd. As we take a look at Kevin Wyndham and 2 Team Suzuki riders. Larry Ward, number 4, is in 7th place, Albertine in 8th. Now, Tortelli's the fastest bike on the track. He's picking up on Emig, and Emig is picking up on Henry. We might have a battle going here. If you can't find Henry, just listen, I guess.
Henry over the finish line again. Opportunities are becoming less and less.
On that last lap, Emig picked up a 2nd on Henry.
Emig knows he's better do something now or it's going to be too late. He's close. He's definitely gotten rid of McGrath. McGrath made a huge mistake a lap ago. Hasn't been able to get it back.
Oh, we got a great race. Henry, number 18, comes off the peristyle. Tortelli, Emig right there battling with Tortelli to the inside. Tortelli now moves into 2nd place. Oh, this is unbelievable. And he's within striking distance of Henry. Tortelli ended up the opening lap going from 15th to 12th place. He has steadily picked off rider by rider. He had some great times in qualifying, and right now he's in a position to win this race. Should Henry make a mistake? Oh, Tortelli shows the wheel to the inside. We mentioned good qualifying times. He did crash in his qualifying heat, but came back in the semifinal to win it with a spectacular time. And you know, David, when you talked earlier about Euros being good in the mud, we had that discussion before the race started. They don't have any domes over there. They've got to run in the mud. And it's pretty sticky mud out there right now on the Los Angeles Coliseum floor. Tortelli is in the United States to race the first 7 races of the Supercross season for Team Kawasaki. Then he has to take care of a commitment on the GP circuit.
Right.
You think if he wins a couple of races, you think he'll go back?
I don't know. I'd much rather win a U.S. Supercross title than a GP.
So would Tortelli.
He's had some success over there already. If you get a good run over here and get that ball rolling, keep going.
Henry, Tortelli, Emig, McGrath, Pashon, and Wyndham is our order. And Tortelli trying to make a move. Henry using all the track he can, but right on the rear rubber is Tortelli.
Well, he is fast, too. It looks like he's just being held up. Looks like Tortelli is just waiting for the right time to work his way around. They're going to be coming up to the white flag.
Here comes Tortelli and the white flag coming up as he comes around to the finish line jump. The white flag is waving for the Frenchman.
Oh, and Henry goes down just after the finish. Henry leaned too far to the inside, lost his balance in that deep rut. That's how fast it can change. Only a lap to go. That thing is not easy to start.
That's one thing about the 4-stroke. Pete Steinbrecher, boy, the heart just jumped out of his chest when he saw that. And still, you see how difficult it is to get it restarted and get it going. But Henry somehow has done it.
No, I don't believe what I just saw. Henry leading this thing till about 100 yards from the last lap. What a great ride for Tortelli. I'm going to have to apologize to this guy for not noticing what a great ride coming from behind, passing all the the country's best, the world's best. He's making a statement here tonight. Number 1 and number 2, shocked probably. Now, where the heck did he come from? This guy, number 103. Here comes the checkered flag.
The checkered flag for Sebastian Tortelli. Oh, my goodness, I don't know how you sing in French. I believe in miracles, but this has just happened for Sebastian Tortelli. We told you to expect the unexpected, really. But even I did not believe that the Frenchman, Sebastian Tortelli, could pull this one off in the first round from Los Angeles Coliseum. We'll be back with some interesting comments, I'm sure, by the competitors after this from Los Angeles.
On your left are the Suzuki motorcycles you want. On your right are the accessories you want. Left, bikes. Right, accessories. Bikes, accessories. Straight in front of you is the great deal you've been looking for. Now during Suzuki Fest 98, get $500 worth of accessories free and choose from great deals like 0 down or low APR financing on selected models. So march right in. Left, right.
How do you lose fat and build muscle? In only 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week. The Bowflex Better Body Workout. Chest, shoulders, back, arms, abs, and legs. For the body you want, call and get your free video and brochure on the machine that works like an entire gym that fits anywhere in your home.
George Washington stopped the British at Valley Forge, but he never made stops like these. He never watched hockey, and now he's dead. Watch the NHL on ESPN2 before life passes you by.
AMA Supercross has been brought to you by Honda Motorcycles, the leader in on and off-road fun. Honda, come ride with us. And by Suzuki Motorcycles and ATVs. Now during Suzuki Fest 98, get $500 worth of accessories free and choose from great deals like 0 down or low APR financing on selected models. Well, we mentioned about the foreign invasion prior, but little of us believe that, few of us believe that number 103, Sebastian Tortelli, over here to warm up for his GP season in Europe, would capture the first round at the Los Angeles Coliseum, followed by Jeff Emig and Jeremy McGrath, former champions. Another Frenchman, Mikel Pichon. If he hadn't gone down, he might have been up front. Kevin Windham making his way into the top 5. And as we look at 6 through 10, I'm sure Davey Coombs over on the winner's podium is making his way over there. Tortelli, Emig, McGrath, in that order, will be on the podium, Davey.
Sebastian, what was going through your mind? You didn't know you won?
I just, I have a bad start, and I was trying to catching hard every rider I could, and my mechanic Craig, he told me, second, and I was thinking I finished second after I passed Doug. So, I'm so surprised and so happy about it.
You've now accomplished something that not even your compatriot, Jean-Michel Bale, did. You've won the opening round of an AMA Supercross Series. This must do wonders for your confidence coming to America in 1999.
Oh, sure, I'm so happy to win today, and I was so surprised, about it.
Take a look now at the points, the top 5 as we go to Houston. This would be the order right here with Tortelli, the mere 3-point lead going into that very famous Houston Astrodome, which in itself was an opening round at one time, David.
Yes, it was. Boy, here's another look at what happened to Doug Henry. Got lean to that inside, front end washed out, went down.
Well, memories of such intense emotional action are magnified when achieved at the world's great arenas of sport, and we've experienced such a moment here tonight with Tortelli winning here at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs, and Marty Reed saying thank you for being with us and joining us on. Ezra Lusk ends Honda's drought atop the podium. 2 of the best 4-stroke racers battle it out in the new U.S. Off-Road Series. And the defending Arena Cross champion opens up his points lead in his quest for a repeat title. Put your feet up and relax. Moto World is next.
Moto World is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles, the leader in on and off-road fun. Honda, come ride with us. Discover today's motorcycling. For the straight facts on motorcycling, call 1-800-833-3995. And by Suzuki. Now, during Suzuki Fest 98, get $500 worth of accessories free and choose from great deals like zero down or low APR financing on selected models.
From the moment the gate dropped, Ezra Lusk took off and never looked back as he led Team Honda to its first win in 16 races. And that's our lead story on this week's show. Hello again, everyone. I'm Art Ekman, filling in for Bob Varsha, who's on assignment. For Team Honda to go an entire season without a Supercross win is like Michael Jordan going weeks without a dunk or John Elway going an entire season without a comeback win. The Red Riders had not posted a Supercross victory since a turncoat named McGrath popped the champagne cork in May of '96. So to pull off a runaway victory last weekend with their latest phenom Ezra Lusk meant jubilant relief for the winningest team in Supercross history. Early in the day, it was apparent that Lusk and McGrath were going to excel. They were outright fast in qualifying and practice, both winning their qualifying heats. The defending series and race champion Jeff Emig was having a horrible day. He crashed in both practice sessions and slid out, having to go to the semis to qualify. Doug Henry, Sebastian Tortelli, and Mikel Pachon all had their problems in the preliminaries. Check out number 16 Pachon and number 100 Mike Brown in the semis.
And I can't tripled very hard, went over the bar. I just got knocked out because I landed on my head. I didn't know where I was after the crash.
For Lusk, his toughest assignment was to forget about finishing a disappointing 16th in the season's opener.
I'm not going to look at that as my first race. We're just looking at this as my first race. I just got back from Japan. I just won 4 motos, and we're ready to go. Everything's set up right, and we're ready to race.
An Astrodome record of 50,832 fans saw Lusk follow his own advice. His Mike Gossler prepared CR rocketed to the front, collecting $1,500 hole shot money. And then the youngster immediately started stretching the lead. Mistake-free and fast, Lusk had the rest of the field battling for runner-up honors. Behind Ezra, number 10 Ryan Hughes was having an outstanding ride, especially when you consider he rode in terrific pain at LA because of a practice crash, and he was also fighting the flu. McGrath and Emig got good starts. It was the number 2 Chaparral Yamaha to make the first move on lap number 2. McGrath in third, moving Emig to fourth. While Lusk was ripping it out front, Rhino was not making it easy on McGrath. It would take 6 laps before Jeremy could make the pass on him.
It took me a few laps to get around Rhino. You know, he was riding really good, and it was hard to get around. The track was kind of one line, although it had some big jumps and stuff, but it just took me a while, and Ezra got away.
Hughes made it equally tough on Emig. Rhino holding on to the final podium spot for 9 laps. As good a ride as it was for Hughes, it was a huge turnaround for Emig. He showed mental toughness and the ability to adjust throughout the day, climbing past his teammate, moving into third with 4 laps to go. Number 5, Mike LaRocco, after a good start in 6th, was the next to take advantage of Hughes, capturing 4th. Take note, LaRocco's feeling good on his factory connection Honda. It wouldn't surprise me to see him back on top of the podium this season. Ezra's new helmet deal won't allow a giveaway this year. That just might get a little expensive. The checkers were waving, though, for his 3rd career win. Under the circumstances, probably the biggest of his career.
It's been a long road, a long off season. We've been working really, really hard. And man, I tell you what, I'm so happy right now. I got to keep a straight face here, because if I don't, I'll just start crying.
So after only 2 rounds, look at this. Emig and McGrath tied for the lead in points. Tortelli, never in the hunt in this one, finishing 8th, is now 4 points back. A 3-way. Davey Coombs to bring you the exciting action. We'll be getting right into tonight's opening heat, the qualifying procedure. The top 4 riders out of the 2 qualifying heats advancing to the main event with the advantage of gaining first choices at the gate. The rest of the field goes on to the semis, where the top 5 riders from each semifinal round get a shot at the big money. Only 2 more spots to be determined, and that comes in the last chance qualifier. 20 riders in all in the 250 main event. A special treat early this year. First time since 1994. A champion and a former champion line up on the gate together. And as I say, we got a special treat early because a preview of their rivalry comes right here in the opening heat. Emig with his 2nd place finish in the opener. McGrath a 3rd in Los Angeles.
Starting right next to each other. The 30-second board is up.
Okay, we're set to go now for The first qualifying heat from the Astrodome, and it looks like we'll have a record crowd. There you see it, Jeremy McGrath and Jeff Emig. Emig, number 1, McGrath, number 2, but we've got a lot of other riders. Albertine, Ward, Henry, Hughes, Lawrence, Button, Kyle Lewis, his first race of the season, and Canadian Sebastian Roy. As we start revving up now, they're off, and our first heat is underway. Emig, a great jump. Can he hold it to the inside? McGrath cuts in front. Jeremy McGrath through the whoop section. It's Jimmy Button, number 11, Jeff Emig, number 1. And number 10, Ryan Hughes, along with Albertine.
Jeff Hedden, number 64, gone down on the whoop, stuck under the bike. Looks like he'll be up and ready to rejoin the action, but what a slick move by Jeremy in the first corner.
Jeremy McGrath has been extremely fast in practice, and he's just taking away here early in qualifying heat number 1. Emig is behind him.
Well, he looks great, but when he looks over his shoulder, he's going to see that number 1 plate. And if he can't ditch him, that'll start to bother him a little bit.
Oh, Albertine, number 7 on the Team Suzuki, just leaped into third, getting around Ryan Hughes. Remember, the top 4 make it to the main event out of this opening qualifying heat.
The way it looks right now, you got Ryan Hughes, Phil Lawrence, Larry Ward. If they don't make a move and catch up, they're going to have to go to the semi. So the action this year is so deep. Heat races are very tense.
Number 2, Jeremy McGrath trying to regain the championship. Here comes Jimmy Button. He's the teammate of Jeremy McGrath. He cuts into second place. Number 11, but Jeff Emig comes firing right back off the triple.
That's what Emig is so good at. Just when you think you got him passed, he comes right back, catches you off guard. These guys are starting to lose just a little bit of time to McGrath now. And a little bit of time is a lot when you got guys of this caliber. Everyone's so equal.
Taking a look at this Houston track as they come off the Altman Mountain. C.E. Altman, one of the pioneers of Supercross, lived right here in Houston. Each year they build a memorial jump, really, or a memorial mountain for C.E.
That's a big one. The double up, double down, 90-degree corner, a variety of lines through there. Kevin Windham had an interesting one there in practice. Can't wait till the next heat race to see that.
Jeremy through the whoops in first, followed by number 1, Jeff Emig, and number 11. What a great shot. Here comes Button once again. He likes to test Emig on the whoop section.
Now he senses that Emig's not getting through there with a lot of aggression in practice. Emig went down there, doesn't like the whoops tonight, struggling a little bit, and he's just playing his cool right there. That's the only place that Button is much faster, and it's not a one-line situation through there, so he's trying to attack.
You know, we're going to have quite a fight on the bubble there with number 10 and number 7. Ryan Hughes and Greg Albertine are battling it out. Who will prevail? Which 4 riders will make it to the main event after our... Jeff Emig went down. It's almost like a flat track turn coming out of the S's there.
Very tricky. They come across the starting line. There's no berm. There's no nothing. Just hard slick. You're trying to set up for the triple. They're going to get a replay right here. What happened? You see Emig just coming out of the berm. Gets onto the flat ground. He'll get into another left-hander here before the triple. Front end starts to go. His foot wasn't out there to help him save it. Down he went. There went Button.
So Emig, or I should say Jeremy McGrath, has a huge lead on his teammate Jimmy Button in second place. There's a lapper in between them. And then we've got Hughes, number 10, in third. Greg Albertine now in fourth, with Kawasaki of Mexico's Phil Lawrence in 5th place.
McGrath right here really making a statement. He's letting these guys know, hey, I don't have to get the whole shot. I can be smart in the first corner, come out with the lead. We'll probably see him start to show off a little bit, show us some of that confidence off the triples. With the big lead he's got, looked great in practice.
But David, we must have about 4 laps remaining, and Lawrence is just too far behind. I think he's about 3 seconds behind, unless something should happen to Greg Albertine. Our top 4 are pretty well defined.
Pretty spread out right now. I don't see these guys really racing for much. Just get to the main. It's so hard to do this year. Right now, McGrath has just lapped Doug Henry, who had a great start going to the first corner, got bumped out over the berm, had to rejoin the action about mid-pack. and went down again.
What a good race here for number 11, Jimmy Button. Staying up on top. He stays upright. He is very fast. He's in for an enjoyable year, I think, as a backup rider with Jeremy, don't you think?
Well, they're friends. They ride together, and a lot of the attention that Jeremy gets, there's some spill over to Button, and that's always good for your confidence.
Let's get out to the floor of the stadium. Davey Coombs.
I'm down here with Ron Wood. This is Ryan Hughes, mechanic. Hey, how's Rhino's back? We know it was a big problem in L.A.
His back is pretty good. He had a little bit of a foot problem as well. The foot problem is more of an issue tonight. But this is his kind of track. It's kind of a hard-packed track and really fast and a lot of momentum. And he's really good at it, so he's doing okay so far.
He's doing very well. Ryan Hughes, who was riding with a great deal of pain. And you know what that's like, David Bailey.
Well, he crashed on a triple jump, I guess, and didn't make it. Jumped off the bike, landed on his feet. Imagine absorbing that impact. And then in favoring that, he had some back problems. Then he got the flu. I mean, I can't even believe he raced L.A. And then last year, he had food poisoning. So the opening round hasn't been friendly to Ryan Hughes, but I expect him to pick it up.
So that lends good reason to a 14th place finish in the opener in the Los Angeles Coliseum.
McGrath right now over the finish line jump, starting to work that bike in the air, letting the feet fly. And what's happened is C19, our lapped rider there, Doug Henry, has let Jeremy get around, not interfering with the race, but he's studying everything that McGrath is doing. That's going to be a good lesson because McGrath is on tonight.
2 laps remaining. Next time around, we'll see the white flag for Jeremy McGrath.
Good shot of Albertine over the triple. Can't quite close that gap on Hughes. Over jumping that just a little bit, kind of a hard landing. The jumps here are pretty big, a little bit harder to adjust to than most of the tracks are pretty tight, a lot of ruts. Nice to come to Houston and see a nice clean face on most of these triple jumps.
One thing about this turf too, it gets hard, but it doesn't break down.
Now you can see right there, this is the corner where Emick went down, right where Jeremy just passed through, hard and slick, and you just got to, takes excellent balance and good throttle control right there.
The white flag for Jeremy McGrath.
Look for a knack-knack. The crowd's already on its feet here on the close side. Jeremy looking really strong.
Confident this is his kind of track. Finesse and speed. The knack-knack. And we go to Ryan Hughes. Jimmy Button also on his way to the main event.
Crowd just standing up like the wave this whole last lap, following Jeremy around. He's got one more opportunity for that patented knack-knack. Technical little tricky section here. Triples through that midsection. And you get into those flat, slick corners. Kishon was awesome there in practice. Great throttle control. Likes the ruts, and he likes the hard, slick stuff.
Jeremy McGrath. The fans are standing. He gives him a good salute. And the checkers for Jeremy McGrath. Our opening qualifier is history. Davey Combs will be talking with Jeremy when we return.
Are you ready for more action, more danger, more impact? Well, your wait is over. The hottest, most intense, extreme Crash Impact ever. Crash Impact 2. 70 minutes of explosive, heart-stopping crash action. You have to see to believe. All new crashes from Superbikes, Harley Series, drag racing, stock cars, sprint cars, Supercross, Indy cars, flat track, and more. All jam-packed on 2 tapes for only $19.
A look at the Phil Lawrence, Doug Henry, my goodness gracious, Larry Ward, along in that bunch. It's looks like a heat race going to the semifinals.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the privateers in the semis. That's where their chances start to look better, but not here so far.
Davies with Jeremy on the winner's podium.
That's right, Art. Jeremy, way to ride. You look like the old Jeremy McGrath from way back when. Fantastic.
Yeah, I was concentrating on getting a good start. You know, my Chaparral Yamaha 1-800 flex. Off the bike is hauling ass.
Hey, tell us about the track. It looks like you're having a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, the track's good. It's got a lot of air, and there's a couple of big triples out there. The finish line jump's really, really fun, and you know, it's a pretty tough track. I mean, there's a few things that are pretty demanding out there, and you got to keep on your toes.
Yeah. How about a little mental victory? Jeff Emick fell down chasing after you.
Yeah, I don't know whether Jeff was in second. I was trying to be like my old self, you know, in 96 and try and concentrate on the track and pay attention to myself and not pay attention to anyone else. And that's what I did. And I rode really smooth. And if I can get another start like that in the main, I'll be pumped.
All right, we'll watch for it.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, he does look like the Jeremy McGrath of old, except he's got a little bit more weight around the cheeks, don't you think? He's not quite as immature looking as he used to be.
No, but
he's grown up fast.
As long as he can ride like that, I don't think it matters.
We have the French connection in the heat number 2 of the qualifying round. The winner in Los Angeles, you just saw him, Tortelli, and right there with Tony Berluti as mechanic, giving him instructions, Mikel Pichon. Pichon looked very fast in that race in Los Angeles, Davey Coombs. How about this French connection?
Well, I'll tell you what, Art, that's a good point. A lot of people are saying there's a new future to American Supercross, and the funny thing is they're both from France. As you had just mentioned, 19-year-old Sebastian Tortelli, just on top of it, is his best race I've ever seen him ride. I saw him ride in Europe a few times, and you know what? It was also Mikel Pichon's best race. If Pichon hadn't fallen early, we might have had France going 1 and 2, but that was on a wet, ruddy track, a lot like they have in Europe. We'll see how different it is here tonight in the Houston Astrodome. Very hard packed track.
Joining Tortelli and Pichon is Kevin Windham, Michael Craig, Mike LaRocco, Damon Huffman, Michael Brown, Ezra Lusk, Lance Smale on a 2-stroke, Jeff Dement from nearby Humble, Texas. A local trying to make it into the main event along with all the other riders. But so many big names this year, so many potential winners, David.
I mean, I'm not just saying this to try to make it sound good on the show. There are probably a dozen riders that have a legitimate shot at winning each week. For the entire series, that narrows down a little bit with consistency and experience, but boy, race by race, it is just exciting to watch. It's almost impossible to pick a winner, but there you get a good look at Kevin Windham, who dazzled the fans in the opening ceremonies with a front wheel wheelie that I've never seen anything like it. It looked like trick riding. He rode it maybe 25, 30 yards on the front wheel. He's got a line out here that if he gets in the clear off that CE mountain, it's just amazing. He'll pull away a couple seconds a lap just in that one area.
So we had a surprise in our opening qualifier. Something tells me we're in for a lot of surprises tonight. As the 30-second board is up, when that goes sideways, that means they have about, anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds and the gate will drop. But starts are so important on a finesse, hard-packed track like this.
They are, and it's interesting to see that the best riders, the favorite, the guys aren't starting right near that starting booth in the middle like they usually do. They're pretty spread out because it's a long start here and a sweeping first left-hand turn. So
the board is sideways. Heat number 2 is underway. Who will get the whole shot? Number 100 is Mike Brown. To the inside is Kevin Windham, number 8. Brown goes down, and Windham is our leader. Number 3, Ezra Lusk from Team Honda in second place. And Damon Huffman, number 15, Team Kawasaki in third.
Now here we go with maybe some fireworks. You've got Kevin Windham and Ezra Lusk, who are apparently carrying some, I wouldn't say bad blood, but they're carrying something ever since Japan. They got together in the heat race in the last lap at the first round in LA. They got together again in the main event. There was a little bit of a starting line argument because Lusk was late to the gate for the main, some fighting there, and here they are together again. They talked today, and apparently Windham went up and said, look, what's the deal? And they have it worked out.
Tortelli has moved into 4th. So Sebastian Tortelli is right in front of Mike LaRocco on the bubble. That's the final qualifying spot here in qualifying heat number 2. Only 4 riders going directly to the main. That'll be interesting with the veteran LaRocco, who's won here in Houston before. Even won back in 125 days.
A lot of experience. These guys haven't raced much together. I talked about that at our first round. A lot of these guys haven't raced much with Tortelli. They don't know how to act around them.
4 more riders will qualify for the main event when we come back. Welcome back to the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs. Our leader still, Kevin Windham, with Ezra Lusk right behind him. This is the battle for 3rd. Number 15 is Damon Huffman. Sebastian Tortelli, 103. And right behind them, Mike LaRocco. We switch back to the leaders. Ezra Lusk showing a wheel to Kevin Windham. Wyndham Team Yamaha, his first full year in 250s. Won the 250 in Charlotte last year. The first active 125 rider to win a 250 Supercross. One of the 4 first-time winners on the season. For that matter, so was Ezra Lusk right behind him.
As you saw these guys go over there's the problem. What happened was you saw Ezra Lusk drag that hay bale out in the middle of the track. Tortelli came through there and clipped it. Dropped a spot. So LaRocco's now in the main if he can stay where he is.
So Ezra Lusk challenging now. Down the whoops. Right in front of him, Kevin Wyndham with 5 laps remaining here in our second qualifying heat. We've seen great racing already. Look out for the semis. I'm telling you, that gets bar to bar on this track.
Wyndham has got to be sick and tired of Lusk hounding him. He did it in the entire heat race at LA. Here you go again. It looks to me like Lusk is maybe a little quicker. If he could get around, he might pull away a little bit. But it's tough to pass. Wyndham knows just where to go to hold that line. He's not blocking. He just knows just where to go to take away his options.
Don't forget, Tortelli crashed in the first qualifying heat in Los Angeles. Came back to win the semifinal and then went on to win the race. They go into the S's. That's Mikel Pichon. So it looks like he'll be going into the semifinal round. He just went off the track. And he was just getting up to 6th position behind LaRocco. Here we go again through the roof.
Not following everyone's favor in the middle down the end of that with the whoop section.
Fans are standing up, but there's going to be no knack-knacks, no heel clickers here. Not with that rivalry going on.
Lusk is fast in the whoops.
Look out, here comes Lusk off the plateau. Kevin Wyndham just keeps the edge, barely. Into the rhythm section.
It impresses me that Lusk is able to take some different options here and there that aren't necessarily the fastest and still stay right on the rear fender of Wyndham.
He doesn't get into the run. He goes up top. So Kevin Wyndham moving around on the track quite a bit. Here comes Ezra Lusk on the flat track side. They go into the S's. They bang bars. Wyndham's got the advantage coming out of here.
You know, I was talking with some of the people after practice, and they thought, well, I don't know, that S-turn's kind of hokey. It's kind of tight. I don't think you can see any passing. Well,
I think it's great.
Perfect example of how good that's going to be.
3 laps to go, and still a battle for first place.
This is going to be good. They're going to catch up to some lappers here at the end of the section.
Ezra Lusk going to the outside. Can Wyndham go to the inside here? Oh, barely. Oh, baby. Here comes Lusk. Bar to bar. Look out underneath. Holy mackerel, Lusk has got the lead.
Stood up through that corner, too. He's making it look easy. Wyndham just backed off right there.
Ezra Lusk, don't mislead yourself. A 16th in Los Angeles.
Goslar telling him to be smart.
The 16th in LA is no indication as to how this guy can ride.
Now, I think if he wouldn't have had a lineup on the outside of that main event, it might have been a whole different story. Lusk, there's a lot of people walking around the pits after practice feel like if he just keeps it on 2 wheels, he's going to win this thing.
Last year early, Emig and McGrath both had double-digit number races, and they both ended up fighting for the title. Let's go to Davey.
Hey, thanks. I'm down here with Mike Goslar. Mike, it seems like Yogi and Wyndham are just together all the time now.
Yeah, it seems like they're magnets, you know, they're attracting one another. Just the way things are going.
No bad blood after LA?
I don't think so. I think they're kind of over whatever happened out there.
That's good to hear.
It really is. Especially when Mike Goslar right there, who was Steve Lamson's mechanic for years, working with Ezra Lusk in Ezra's first year at Team Honda. He knows how to keep him cool, I think.
Yep, he's a good kid. He's got all new surroundings, and they didn't want to have anything happen. It's too early in the year to start any trouble.
And Wyndham looking like he's going to settle for second place, is 6 seconds behind number 3, Ezra Lusk. Lusk is the flag bearer for Team Honda. With Lamson getting the preseason injury, the broken collarbone, he won't be back for another at least 5 weeks or so. The white flag for Ezra Lusk. Final lap of our first opening qualifying round.
He's got Lusk through the whoop section. He runs his bars up pretty high, and his levers up pretty high as well, out pretty straight. Wyndham through there. He's back down just a notch. He may have been getting pushed just a little bit hard, and it's possible his arms could have pumped up, and it was just inevitable that Lusk was going to get around. But
Damon Huffman in 3rd. And LaRocco is in 4th. As Tortelli, this guy won't give up. He's still weeding up through the field, but he's run out of time.
Huffman had a good run going in LA until he got caught up with Albertine. No telling where he would have been going, but it looked to me like he was going to the front. Still, Lusk is just putting time on everybody right now, about a second faster than anyone else per lap. That's a lot of time. 20-lap final. If he gets a start, that's 20 seconds.
The checkers are waiting for Ezra Lusk taking the final turn. Ezra Lusk wins our second qualifying heat in grand style. Davey will be talking with him, and we'll take a look at the King of the Astrodome when we return here in Houston.
What's the right grip feel?
Took place.
Coming into some lappers at the end of the whoop section, Lusk decided to carry his momentum to the outside, get a good burst of power, had to cross through that roost of Wyndham. Wyndham couldn't build up his speed heading into that triple. Plus, Lusk controlled the inside. A little bit of a hard landing there, but nothing that Wyndham could do right here to retaliate. He just backed off.
You don't think Honda, they're jumping up and down over there? They haven't won since May back in 1996 when Jeremy McGrath won the finale.
Well,
Ezra Lusk, Kevin Wyndham, Damon Huffman, Mike LaRocco advanced to the main event now as those four riders doing exceptionally well. Let's go down to Davey, who's, I'm sure, with a very happy Ezra Lusk.
Yeah, that's right, Art. He is happy, but at the same time, pretty calm. Now, for someone who just had a knockdown drag out like that with Kevin Wyndham, you seem pretty relaxed, Joe.
Well, that's been the key all along for me, is try to be relaxed and go fast. And I just hung behind Kevin for a couple laps. He had a couple really interesting lines over there, and I was watching that, and I didn't really want to do it because I thought it'd be too tough to do every lap. So he quit doing it, and I just rode smooth.
A lot of people say the key of this track might be that whoop section. It looks like so far what we've seen tonight, you're the fastest guy through there.
Man, I tell you what, my Dunlop tires and my CR Honda just really hooked me up going through those whoops, and I stay on top of them all the way through, and they feel great.
Last question, did you watch McGrath at all when he won that first heat race?
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what kind of times our heat races was, just to see how fast he was going. He looked great, you know. I can't take anything away from the guy, but it's going to be a good main event.
Well, it's fun to watch Supercross on television, but you really ought to witness the excitement in person. Next, we head to Phoenix before heading to the Pacific Northwest, and then it's get out the sandals and hit the beaches of San Diego. Indianapolis on February 14th. Atlanta's on the 21st. Tampa is added to the schedule before Daytona on March 7th. And the 14th, it's a return to New Orleans. Then Minneapolis, St. Louis, Pontiac, Charlotte, Dallas, and the finale in Las Vegas, where the way things are going right now, I expect it to go right down to the wire in Las Vegas. You know, the Astrodome is the third oldest Supercross venue coming on board after Los Angeles and Daytona. All the great names have raced here, but the king of the Astrodome is a shared honor. Back in the days of the doubleheaders, Mark Barnett and Bob Hanna, 5 wins apiece, as you see. Jeff Ward, 4 consecutive years he won here. No doubleheaders in his count. Jeremy McGrath, Damon Bradshaw, and Tony DiStefano with 3 wins. And even our David Bailey picked up the victory, one of 9 single winners here at the Astrodome. But right now, with one of the kings of the Astrodome, Davey Combs.
That's right, Art. You get to sit up there at the Legend every Saturday night, but I got Mark Barnett with me right now, and this guy is a motocross and Supercross legend, and also, as you said, 5-time winner here at the Houston Astrodome. Mark, is this a really tough track tonight? Is this a tough one to win?
It looks like a pretty tough track so far. It's a lot of technical stuff out there, and a lot of guys are going fast, so it's going to be difficult to win if you get a bad start.
You know, back in the day, they used to have double headers here. They'd race on Friday night and then come back on Saturday, or maybe Saturday and Sunday. How tough were those?
Well, it was pretty tough to race 2 nights in a row, but you can either have a good weekend or a bad weekend. So if you did bad the first night, you could do good the second night or have 2 good nights. So it really worked out both ways. You can have 2 good ones and 2 bad ones.
All right, well, thanks for taking a moment to talk to us, Mark, and back up to you guys.
Ezra win. I need a new helmet. Ezra started that tradition last year, really, with his first win, and he went on to take another win, and he gave away his helmet to the crowd. I'm not so sure he'll do that this time around. More action when we return to the Astrodome. Series, and boy, do we see some fantastic action in the opening 2 heats. Ezra Lusk, Jeremy McGrath, very, very fast. Just as fast as they looked in practice yesterday. They have not lost a beat.
They're going quick, and to me, just a notch above everybody else in their heat races. But the thing that's interesting to me is that McGrath out of the first 4 finishers at the first round, is the only guy that's qualified. The rest of them have to go to the semi. But on the other hand, Lusk, the new guy that's joining him, is 3 seconds faster, his heat race time overall. So Lusk is there. He's going to bother Jeremy if they get good starts.
And David, I still think as the evening goes on, this dirt here in the Houston Astrodome gets slicker. It does not break down, and I think Doug Henry might have a chance of pulling up there with those 2 leaders in speed.
That's true. That's true. He got a good start, but he got pushed wide, and having to go to the semi doesn't necessarily mean he won't be there for the main, because the configuration of the start, as long as it is with that big wide first corner, doesn't really matter where you start. So the fact that he has to go to the semi and get a worse pick shouldn't affect him much with all that horsepower.
Well, we got some great action coming up. The semis. As we take a look at the Suzuki track map, David, there's a lot to talk about here in the Houston layout.
Well, it's big, just like everything in Texas, and it starts off with a huge starting line, about 100-yard shot to a big first turn, a wide sweeper right into the whoops. At another 100 yards of those, and it's not giving anyone problems till the very end. Then on to the first of 2 triples, some more rhythm sections, and then a big mountain, CE mountain, a double up, double down, 90-degree corner into another couple of mini triples. Switchbacks across the starting line to another triple and a huge finish line jump, and McGrath says it's fun.
He made it look fun. As we go to the semifinals, the top 5 riders will make it to the main event after this first semifinal round. Phil Lawrence, Jeff Emig slid out in the qualifying heat. He's in this one. Larry Ward. Kyle Lewis is one of the few races that he'll be running before he returns to Japan to race for Suzuki Japan. And Doug Henry is in this semifinal round after a wide first turn in the qualifying heat. Then more problems. He consigned himself to practice run right behind the leader, Jeremy McGrath. Checking out number 1. Let's see who gets the whole shot. Emig's in good position to go where he wants to go. Number 19 is Henry right behind him, and it's Emig. Emig with the whole shot. There's Larry Ward, number 4. Team Suzuki in second place. Henry got boxed out and is currently in 5th.
Well, he didn't get out over the gate good enough. Got blocked in. Couldn't apply that power, but not too bad right now. He's in qualifying position if he stays where he is.
In 3rd place is Ryan Terlecki from Salem, Oregon.
See what Ward does with Emig here. Emig's been just a little off all day. Didn't look good in the heat. Didn't look any better in either of the practice sessions. And Ward already starting to try some different lines on him.
We've got Emig, Ward, and now Henry has moved into 3rd.
That was slick. He was in 5th the last time I looked.
Do you think as the track gets slicker, though, that 4-stroke could be to a little bit more advantage despite the weight?
I think so. Look at Las Vegas. Last round, the first time a 4-stroke ever won a Supercross. It was probably one of those slipperiest races on the circuit. Came away with a win there. Starting to close on these guys. There you see him in 3rd, entering the whoops. These guys are starting to favor the middle. That rut's getting...
Emig and Ward going at it.
Ward thought he had a move there. Even if you can make a pass and can't make it stick, make it. Make that guy think. Make Emig worry about the next time he comes through there.
Okay, it is Ward, Emig, Henry. Five riders will go to the main event out of this one. Phil Lawrence has moved up a notch.
Interesting section through here. Switchbacks across the starting line. There's the corner where he fell in the heat race. Through there clean. He's able to hold off that early charge of Ward, but they're getting into the whoops again. This is where he's been uncomfortable today. See if Ward gets a run at him again. Now Henry's a lot closer.
Coming out of the whoops, Emig's got a good line. Ward couldn't get to it. Look at Henry, though. Take the inside line with that power.
Now,
1, 2, 3.
I think there's been some talking in the Yamaha semi. Watch Henry. He's going to go wide here and try a little different timing. This is what Wyndham was doing in the heat race. He hops over that, makes the pass.
Into second place, Doug Henry. So it's Emig, Henry, and Larry Ward.
Now, that's what we heard Lusk talking about after this heat race, saying that Wyndham had a line there. It was pretty hard to do, and Henry's doing it on a 4-stroke, so I think he's pretty comfortable on that bike, despite it's about 10 pounds heavier. Imagine strapping a 10-pound dumbbell to you, trying to go out there and ride some laps. It's inconvenient, but Doug's working with it.
Keep it right here. Here comes Henry through the woods. Can he get Emig? He shows him a wheel, but has to back off. He doesn't want to overextend himself right now. Henry to the inside, but Emig gets the slingshot effect into the triple.
Still a good strategy by Henry to apply that pressure, show him a wheel, take different lines, get the crowd into it, force that guy to start riding your race, starting to ride defensive. And here comes the line again. Watch Henry.
Emig, Henry, Emig. Oh, Doug Henry.
Boy, that's the line right there. Sails over the top of all that stuff. Now Emig, if he can stay close and learn that. One thing if he can learn what he's doing different. Another thing if he's doing it, because it sounds like it's pretty tough.
So we got Henry, Emig, along with Larry Ward, then Phil Lawrence, and then Kyle Lewis. And their positions are not being threatened, even though they're way behind the top three. Let's go to Davey.
Okay, I'm down here with Pete Steinbrecher. Pete, is that a line, that jump over there, is that a line that Doug got from Kevin Windham?
I think they both talked about it, but whether Doug got it or Kevin got it first, I guess we really don't care as long as they both use it and maybe be on top tonight.
Well, here they go again. He's heading to that section. Emig's going to be watching. And Art, I thought when I heard that Henry was riding the four-stroke the whole season in Supercross that bike just wasn't going to cut it, but he's proven me wrong.
5 more riders will come out of this semi to go to the main event. The race to the checkers when we return.
Are you
back to the Astrodome as we are entering the semifinal rounds? Doug Henry is now pulling quite a lead on Jeff Emig. It is the white flag lap.
I don't think any of these top three are going to really be that anxious to change their positions, just get to the main.
It looks like Henry, Emig, Ward, Phil Lawrence, Kawasaki of Mexico, and then Kyle Lewis, who's riding a privateer Suzuki before going back to Japan. He broke his collarbone in the 5th round of that series in Japan, so he did not really vie for the title, even though he ended up 3rd in points in the Japanese National Championships.
Now, here's something interesting to me. Emig has seen Henry do that line a couple of times now. Still hasn't tried to do it himself. He's going to have to do that in the main event. That's nerve-wracking when you head into a main event. You need to jump something you haven't jumped before.
The checkers are out. Doug Henry, Jeff Emig, and Larry Ward, the top 3. It looks like it'll be Lawrence and Kyle Lewis. And we'll get the official roster when we return.
discover the amazing hitting?
Mantle hit a home run, the first home run here in the Astrodome back in 1965 in April. But Doug Henry hit a home run right there, David Bailey.
Great line. He and Kevin talking that line over, no doubt. Worked for the win.
These 5 riders advancing to the main event, and all veterans. Henry, Emig, Ward, Lawrence, and Lewis. Mikel Pichon, as we see him right there, getting ready for semifinal number 2.
After a lot of success in LA, 32nd card goes up. Look at Pichon right there, putting the goggles on. These guys wait till the last minute. It gets hot in there. Keep that air on your face. The French invasion has had to invade the semi. Looked like they had the chance to be 1 and 2 there in the way they were riding. And first round in LA, there's number 22, Tim Ferry, also in the semi.
Tim Ferry with no lean Yamaha this year. Kind of got rooked out of defending his 125 title that he won last year just for the change of the rules. Here we go, semifinal number 2. Pichon, but he's going to have to go wide. It's Tim Ferry, number 22. Ferry. And then we've got Michael Brown, 100. There's Mikel Pichon. Where is Tortelli? Tortelli is back mid-pack.
That guy can pass, but the problem is this isn't a 20-lap race. He made all his passing at the first round in the late part of the race.
Here we take a look at the battle for second. Pichon and Mike Brown. Michael Brown last year going the GP circuit in the 125s. He had to go 45-minute motos there, so he came back in shape, but he came back really wanting to come back to America and establish himself with Honda of Troy. Oh, Pichon goes.
Pichon went down hard, took down Brown. Brown had nowhere to go, hit his bike. Brown up and going. No doubt if something's bent on his bike, it's going to be hard for him to get back up front. So the bad start for Tortelli. Well, that's going to make it a little easier for him to get back to the main event.
Take another look, see what happened.
Pichon right here
16.
going for a triple there. He's trying to go for 3, didn't quite come close. I think he got a little lucky there where he just scrubbed off the top of that jump. Now watch the bike, catches Brown in the air.
It hits him in the head. One tire hit him right in the head. Ferry, a big lead now. Michael Craig in second place. Robbie Skaggs in third. And Pichon, that's his father with him right there.
Hope he's okay. This ride is so good. He made it through the first round where he had so much trouble there last year with his leg injury, and I hate to see him get hurt now. He's in contention for a win at any race the way he's been riding today, and yesterday he was the fastest in practice according to Roger DeCoster's watch.
The checkers will fly with 5 more riders, not having to sweat out the last chance qualifier. All the answers coming up in a moment.
Look at the path. I think that it's inevitable. Tortelli's going to move around. It's a question of where. This kid got real. There you get Pichon walking away. Looks like he's going to be all right, but it's the last chance.
Let's go down to Davey.
Okay, Mikhail, we saw that crash. That was horrifying, but looks like you're okay.
Yeah, just I made a stupid mistake. I mean, I catch that jump before, and I still tried to make the triple, and I catch that triple very hard, went over the bar. I just got knocked out because I landed on my head, but I feel good overall. I just need to drink a little bit and get back on the. I didn't know where I was after the crash. I'm getting better now already.
Well, Davey, it looks like he just made the John Madden all-tough team with that crack across the bridge of his nose. We're down to 3 laps to go here in our second semifinal round. A good break for Tortelli.
Yeah, I knew he was going to have to get in a hurry, and he was going to have to get around Brown and Pichon. That would have been tough.
Ferry has an 9-second lead now on Michael Craig, and a very similar lead on Tortelli in third.
Ferry's riding good in this race. There's a look at him through those switchbacks.
2 laps remaining in our semifinal round.
Brown starting to move up.
What a bad break for Brown. Should he have to go to the last chance qualifier?
Well, he just moved into 5th. They're getting around Skaggs. That should be okay, but that could have been a lot worse. That bike just swung right around Pichon's and took him out in the air. Craig got kind of tangled up in that mess, too. Didn't go down.
And the young man from Humboldt, Texas, Jeff DeMent, looks like he might make it into the main event. To the pleasure of the Texans here. Jeff DeMent in 4th behind Tortelli, and then Brown in 5th, as you mentioned, David.
White flag for Ferry. Watch him through the whoops here. Been looking pretty good.
Boy, there's a lot of good riders these days that'll have to go to the last chance qualifiers. We take a look at Ferry on the final lap. What a heartthrob this has got to be for him. The adrenaline's really got to be pumping after not making it in Los Angeles.
Plus, you sit on the starting line with the winner of the first round, Tortelli, Pichon. You know you got a lot of talent. He doesn't know what's going on behind him. He's out there leading this race. And anytime you can win, even if it's the last chance qualifier, it feels good.
Oh, it really does. He won the 125 East last year with no wins. He had 5 third places. But the new eligibility rules really got to him because he can't go back to defend his 125 title. So he went to the 250s, got hooked up with John Clark, no lean Yamaha, and this has got to be the greatest feeling in the world for him right now. What a confidence builder after not making the field in Los Angeles. Tim Ferry draws the checkers here from the semifinal round. And we'll be back with a talk with Tim right after this. Around it's Ferry, Craig, Tortelli, DeMent, and Brown, with Pichon going to the last chance qualifier. Let's go down to Davey, who's with Tim Ferry.
All right, Tim, that has to do a lot for your confidence after what happened in Los Angeles last weekend.
Yeah, it does. You know, I had an off weekend, and I don't know what it was. I was a little bit nervous riding 250 for the first time, but I worked real hard. I rode every day this week, and I'm feeling a lot better this week.
For you, it's a track like this, really hard pack and slick, tougher than a wet track like we had in LA?
Well, I've been back in Florida a lot, so I'm used to a little bit more tackier. But, I mean, I'm getting better and better as the weekend goes on, and the no-lean Yamaha is just working real good, and I'm just real real happy with the Bridgestone tires and everything.
Hey, you know, one of the guys you beat in that race was Sebastian Tortelli, and we know what he did last time.
Yeah, you know, he did really good last weekend. You know, it was a mud race, and I'm just going on this weekend and get some points and hopefully maybe be up on a podium or, you know, just put a good ride.
All right, we wish you luck, Tim.
Thanks.
Taking another look as we see Mike Brown 100 by Pichon. Watch 16, the yellow bike, the Suzuki right in front of him.
Well, he doesn't even really straddle the top of that jump. He hit it with the front wheel, too, which caused him to endo so quick. Then he just cases it with his body right into the top of that next jump. He just got over the top. Otherwise, that would have really driven him to the ground hard. Brown just stepped off, and then he just kind of rolls to stop. And then number 13, Craig, has nowhere to go. Doesn't go off. Well, he looks like he did a little.
He did go off, didn't he, a little bit. Next, we head to Phoenix, Arizona on ESPN for round number 3. Tune in at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 o'clock out west, Friday the 30th. Check your local cable rating, listings, I should say, for the last-minute changes. Okay, the sport's future superstars, the 125s, will be coming up next. Here from the Houston Astrodome. Stay tuned. AMA Supercross is being brought to you by Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. Quality training for the motorcycle industry.
Hi, Bob Vila here with an exciting new hand tool from Sears. If you're impressed with our Craftsman RoboGrip pliers, wait till you see this. Hey, Jim, how you doing with that table?
Oh, these hex nuts are driving me crazy. My adjustable wrench keeps rounding off the corners, and I don't have box end wrenches for all the different sizes.
Here, try the Craftsman Pocket Socket adjustable box end wrench. With a one-hand adjustment, you can lock onto nuts and bolts of almost any size, metric or standard, from 5/16 to 3/4 of an inch, or 8 to 18 millimeters. The closed box end clamps tight, and heat-treated steel construction makes it durable. And because it's a Craftsman hand tool, made in America, it's guaranteed forever.
For rush delivery of your Craftsman Pocket Socket, get your Sears charge or the credit card ready and call 1-800-452-0909. That's 1-800-452-0909. Or send your check or money order for $19.99 plus shipping and handling to the address on your screen. Call 1-800-452-0909 right now.
Take the shot. If you've got the look, take the shot.
Attention college basketball fanatics. Here's Tuesday night's Big East matchup. Super sophomore Richard Hamilton has been lighting up the scoreboard this season. He'll lead the Huskies against scrappy Jamel Thomas and the Friars. UConn Providence Tuesday night at 7:30, only on ESPN2.
Welcome to the Naismith House.
One thing when you see Lyle Lovett at a Supercross, it's not just for show. This guy not only loves the sport, he's also a very fine rider. Just back from a 10-day excursion through Chile.
All right, it's nice and smooth, and we had a great time.
What was it like?
You know, it was just beautiful. We were on dirt roads the entire time, but they weren't back roads. They were like the main highways. And, it was terrific riding.
Oh, it sounds like a fabulous trip. And, of course, there's a couple of guys out there that are having a fabulous trip here after 2 heats of action.
It's so exciting tonight to see Jeremy go out front in the first heat and to watch Lusk in the second one. It's terrific.
The amazing thing, Lyle, as you remember from Los Angeles, the Frenchman Tortelli won. Almost anyone could win this year.
Yeah, the riders seem to be very evenly matched, don't they?
They do. What's on your schedule, Lyle?
Getting ready to go back in the studio in Los Angeles in a couple of weeks, and was home this weekend, so I couldn't resist coming to the Supercross.
Well, anxiously awaiting what comes out of the studio, as well as the information about your rides. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
While we were away, the final 2 positions have been selected at the gate now for Jean-Sebastien Roy and Mikel Pichon. They were the top 2 out of the short last chance qualifier, and so they'll get the final 2 gate positions for the 250. But right now, Stefan Roncada taking a peek as the others take their practice lap just before the 125 main. Taking a look at the Suzuki point standings after 1 round, Dowd heads the list, 3 points up on Roncada. Then it's Brandis, Huffman, and McCormick, the top 5.
Talking to Roncada's mechanic after practice, he said, yeah, we weren't too bummed out giving away only 3 points in a race where he got a terrible start and pretty much proved that he was as fast, in some cases faster than Dowd. He wants to prove it here tonight.
The 125 field has a bushel basket of aspiring youngsters, but this year's cast also features 2 guys over 30 years old. While factory teams are continually gunning for #1 plates in the 125 ranks, the AMA has always tried to preserve the division as an entry-level stepping stone to the 250.
I need to show people what I'm capable of, and instead of just getting support rides, I need to be out there and get some podiums and put in some good finishes. That way I can get up there in the big rigs.
Such is the case as well with Stefan Roncada, Jason McCormick, David Villemin, and the near-unanimous throng of young riders trying to catch the attention of the big teams. To get a call from the legendary Roger DeCoster offering a 125 Primal Suzuki support ride was an incredible thrill for Ryan Huffman.
At first, it was like I didn't believe my mom when she told me that he'd called, so I was pretty surprised.
Incongruent with this youthful mix is 32-year-old father of one, John Dowd.
I think about the young kids. I mean, this is where all the superstars come from, really, from this class, and moving up over the years. So you never know when one of these guys is gonna get going. And being young, they're definitely all aggressive, and just they're not really afraid to go trying stuff out there.
It's pretty good, I think, to be 33 years old and still riding that fast. I mean, that's amazing.
Amazing as it may seem to the 18-year-old Roncada, this season the 125 West also has rejoining the ranks a former two-time 125 champion and 250 title contender. Jeff Matasevich. Here's a guy who took bar banging to the extreme with Damon Bradshaw in the old days. Not holding an AMA racing license for the last 3 years while racing in Japan opens up this opportunity, but catching up with the youth of today isn't easy.
It's changed a lot. I mean, the young kids are really aggressive, and plus being over in Japan, I haven't been as aggressive because I haven't had to for the last 3 years. So coming back, and then it's been 10 years since I've been on a 125, so it was a really big change for me.
Despite the differences in ages, the 125 West spells the same word for everyone: opportunity. Art Ekman and David Bailey up in the press box, and down on the floor of the stadium where all that action is Davey Coombs. Davey.
Hey guys, we were talking about that line that Kevin Windham and Doug Henry were using. Well, I just saw Stefan Roncada use the parade lap in the 125 race to take a shot at it, and gentlemen, he made it. So watch Roncada on that jump that Henry was specializing.
Davey, that's probably why he went out last.
It's a good point, because you know what? John Dowd has obviously had a chance to talk with his Yamaha teammates about it. Roncada had one shot, one chance. We'll see if he pulls it off in the main event, guys.
It's a lot easier to go out and try that in practice. I mean, you could even go out there and fold it up a little bit and crash in the parade lap and probably get a couple extra minutes to get yourself together before the start. But if you go out and do that in the main event, it's all over with.
Stefan getting a little practice start on the AstroTurf.
It's a good strategy. Also, something I used to like to do whenever there's a parade lap is be the last guy. Everyone's lined up and waiting, and that tension builds and builds. When you line up there last, you don't have to sit there as long before they drop the gate.
Who's going to get the 1/900 Pro Race hole shot check? They draw the line, and whoever goes over that line right before the whoops coming out of turn 1 will get the extra cash. Nathan Ramsey, Stefan Roncada, John Dowd, David Pingree, Jason McCormick, David Villemin from France, Yuri Dostal from the Czech Republic riding for the Primal Suzuki team, Matasevich, Eric Vallejo out of Mexico riding for Kawasaki of Mexico, Greg Schnell. Oh, the list goes on and on. The 32nd board is up.
Thought Ramsey looked excellent in his heat race. Roncada looks good. There he is, number 18. Jason McCormick riding good.
38 is Deegan, got in by the last chance qualifier.
Heat race wasn't too impressed with Dowd, but the longer the race, the more he gets into it. He gets good starts on that 125. There you can see the guy with the sign that's sideways.
Okay, gets set to go.
Dowd having to kick a piece of dirt out from under his foot right before the gate drops.
We're off. The 125 main event is underway. Pingree, number 29. Does he have to go wide? Can he make it? 9:34 is David Villemin. He'll take the check back in francs.
Didn't look too good in his heat race. Didn't get a good start. Put it all together here in the main when it counts.
So it's Villemin, Pingree, and then number 25. He's got that yellow shirt on, Michael Brandis, who took a 3rd place in the opener in Los Angeles.
Back behind the leaders, Brandis making a bobble. Little mistake, got passed on both sides by Ramsey and Roncada.
David Villamy, an interesting story. Last year, only came over for a few races like this season before going back to the GPs. But he was so successful with a win in Seattle, he was second in points, got second places in Los Angeles and Minnesota, that they brought him back from Europe to continue the season hopeful of winning the 125 division crown.
And it was Ramsey and Roncada together right there that were leading that race in Seattle that he won. Ramsey couldn't make it all the way over the triple. Roncada plowed into him, and Villemin went on for the win.
But it was a 10th place right here in Houston that sent Villemin back to Europe to start the GP season. Okay, this is going to be an exciting finish in the 125 main event. Will be, oh, he goes down.
Ramsey,
Nathan Ramsey goes down. The young lad out of Hickson, Tennessee. More bad luck here in Houston. Let's check it out.
Oh, it's a tricky section. They go up on that plateau, jump back off. Right here, jump in the double into the corner. Tap that rear brake, brought the front end down too low over the bar.
Okay, as David Villamy goes into the whoops. And Pingree, number 29, is in back of him. We've got a 4-bike freight train. Will it stay the same? Villemin, Pingree, Huffman, Roncada with Brandis in 5th place. We'll be back in a moment.
Now is the time to train for the career you've always wanted. Just ask Motorcycle Mechanics Institute graduate Al Ludington, now lead mechanic for Honda's championship-winning Smokin' Joe's Superbike team.
MMI gave me the knowledge and training to take me to the top of my profession. It's a great place to start, and I recommend it to anybody looking to kick off a career in motorcycle mechanics or the personal watercraft industry.
Change your life with one phone call, 1-800-994-3664. That's 1-800-994-3664. Call today.
You never really leave this place. You just go home for a while. FLA, USA.
Orlando. Every time you visit, everywhere you go, Orlando, something else. Come and say hello. Always something different. Always something fun. The smile's gonna show it. You never outgrow it. Orlando.
Okay, Brett, we're going to demonstrate how the ESPYs bring together the world of entertainment and the world of sports, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's do it.
Is there a script?
No, there's no script. We don't need a script. That's the whole point, is to find out what happens when the world of sports and the world of entertainment kind of collide.
Okay.
Okay, let's do it.
The ESPYs, presented by General Motors and Pennzoil, February 9th, 8 p.m.
Yeah, okay. Hey, get us a script there, would you, idiot?
Welcome back to the Asks, now moving into 6th place as you saw the top 5 on our Suzuki field summary.
Just came through the mechanics area and just about ran over everyone's toes, too. He's trying everything to move his way up. If you take a look at Pingree.
Pingree, the battle for second is on.
Dowd is starting to go to work on Brandis.
Pingree took a 6th place in Los Angeles. He's 10 points off the points lead. There's Villemin. Number 934, 29, Pingree. 28, right on his heels is Ryan Huffman, who had to get into the main event through the LCQ, the last chance qualifier. He had bad luck in the qualifying round.
Here we have more of that French invasion. Running 1st and 4th right now. Roncada going to take that line. Just to the left of the screen. Whoa! They got their jump timing all mixed up. Roncada was in the air.
He went flying. Oh, my goodness. He was tangling with Ryan Huffman.
He was trying that line that Davey was talking about. This is at the tail end. He was in the air.
Over. What a collision.
Huffman had no idea that was coming. Roncada was committed. Bad break for Huffman.
That's almost like Roncada and Ramsey. Roncada was already committed and came down and crashed with Ramsey last year.
It reminds me a little bit of that famous helmet cam footage we had of McGrath coming down on top of Craig. Same type of deal into a right-hand corner.
So you saw David Villamy looking back to see where the second-place rider might be. He had to look a long way back. He's got about an 8-second lead on David Pingree. Let's go down to Davey Combs.
Okay, guys, listen, I know that Sean Persinger might be a little too upset to talk to us right now, but after Rick Hahn had made that mistake, he grabbed his headset, he threw it down. This year has not started out the way Team Honda Troy wished.
Now, Ron Cotto's been the fastest guy on the track all night on the 125. Really thought he was a heavy favorite to win this thing, was in position to. Got a little bit antsy. It's a long race, and sometimes you got to figure out the best time to pick your spots. And right there, he was just going for it, and there was nowhere to go.
Velleman looking so smooth in the whoops. Pingree doing a good job so far as he goes down the middle line, changing the line midway.
Pingree's riding a great race. He's just a little bit off the pace of Velleman, but no one's gaining on him either. So it's a lonely ride for him right now, but it's a podium if he stays there.
10 laps remaining in our 125 main. A 7-second lead. There's John Dowd in 4th, taking on Ryan Huffman.
As I was saying as we were in the parade lap, Dowd, the longer the race, the better. Now he's going to go out wide and try that line. Let's see if he does it. His timing's a little different. There he goes.
John Dowd, oh, he snaps his neck.
Well, that wasn't pretty, but at least he didn't go down. I thought for sure he was going off the track. Got on the brakes and saved it, but I don't think he's going to try that again, Art.
Oh, I think he's going to be looking for a neck brace. One of those that snap your neck back there and hold it back in place.
That was whiplash.
And whiplash. That was the word I was using for it. Let's go down to Davey.
Okay, you guys are right. That was a close call. Brian, we saw this in the 250 class. Is that a line that the Yamaha guys told John to try?
Well, that's one of the things he had done it in practice really well, and then in his heat race, I don't know, he kind of brain faded, didn't try it at all. And then he saw Doug do it, and he was like, it kind of woke him up. But boy, he just scared us all right there, I'll tell you.
That was really ugly. And that shows you how hard it is to get over that. On the 125, it's really tough. He came up a little short, but he was committed. He had to keep gassing it to get over those things, or else it would have been a lot worse.
John Dowd in good position.